talking about?
Little Timmy stole my bike.
What?
Yeah, I whooped his ass.
Dawson!
He was just riding it to the park. So I was just fighting him and took it back.
I gave little Timmy the goddamn bike. What are you doing?
How would I know?
You told me it was too small for you. What are you doing? Is he still down there?
Yeah? I think he's crying.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Funkatopia WTF. I better drink some of this water here because let me tell you, we got a good show here tonight. This is obviously the pre-show for those who are just tuning in. I am by myself today. Actually, I take that back. I do actually have a special co-host that will be joining me after my interview with Mark Webster, but I wanted to kind of come in and obviously do a little bit of pre-show and see how everybody's doing. Jeff Paige had a work thing that he had to do. So, hey, it is what it is. Hello, April from Tampa. How are you, sir? Andre, what is going on? Andre's in Canada. We all know that. Kiaria from the Twin Cities. What is going on? Lisa. And yes, Krista from Indiana. Jean, Jill, all you fine folks. And you guys just keep on coming on in. I know we normally have a little bit of slow traction in the pre-show, which is why we do the pre-show, is because of the fact that I want you guys to get comfortable and kind of come on in. And yeah, Jean, what's going on? Betsy, hello. Yeah, tonight's going to be a little bit of a fun show because we got a short interview that I'm doing with Mark, who is already in the green room. And we are going to be talking about the highway and the renaming of the highway and all that stuff. And he was pretty much the man responsible for putting that all together and making that happen. So we kind of want to celebrate him and kind of get the background story of everything that was happening and that occurred during that whole process. And yeah, I can't even imagine what that would have been like. But all that being said, we're going to talk with him and kind of get a little bit of the background story on that. Thank you to Audrey and Purple Genealogy for kind of making that connect and kind of getting us hooked up together. But I've met Mark a couple of times at Paisley Park. And so I was familiar with who he was, but this would be the first time I actually had an opportunity to really kind of talk to him besides what we talked an awful lot. I hope everybody's still doing good. It is a Tuesday, so we're just kind of in the middle of the whole, it is what it is. Hey, Sue from Southern California, and Eddie Ames is in the house. Eddie Adames. That's how you pronounce your last name, right? Eddie Adames. Jasmine, what's going on? Hello, beautiful purple people. And it's going to be fun tonight. We're going to have some good discussions, got a lot of funny news clips and whatnot. And we're going to be talking a little bit about everything. And again, as I mentioned, I do have a special co-host. I kind of feel like you already know who this guy is, but I don't know if you already know that he's coming on, because I don't know if he's announced it elsewhere, but we'll see. But I'll go ahead and divulge it right now for you pre-show folks, because at 8 p.m. 8 Eastern Standard Time, which is about 4 minutes from right now, we're going to go into the actual show, and I'm going to go right into the interview with Mark. And then we're going to break into our little fun section where we're going to be talking about news. I do have one big item for the Controversy Corner that I'll be talking about a little bit later on in the show, that I'm saving until towards the end of the show because it's pretty heavy and it is Prince related. But we had a lot of crazy things that were happening in the interim that happened in the NPG world. And we're going to kind of discuss that and talk about a little bit about some of these people that kind of get online and claim to be Prince experts and start talking about what they feel like Prince would have wanted, and he wouldn't have wanted that, and he wouldn't have done that, and he just like, it's insane. And it obviously came to a head when one of those fine Prince experts decided to go head to head with somebody from NPG of all people, and it went south, and it was not pretty. So anyways, we kind of want to have a little bit of discussion about that. A lot of people asked me a lot of questions about Prince, and believe it or not, no matter what you may think or feel, I don't even claim myself to be a Prince expert. I am certainly a Prince fan and Prince fam, and I know a lot I know a lot more than any of my friends or family for sure, but I am not a Prince expert. So let's just get that clear, because it's just, there's only one Prince expert. He's no longer with us. So that is what it is. We're going to talk about that on the Controversy Corner section of the show towards the end of the show, but we're not going to, it's just one of those heavy things. Greg from Milwaukee, what's going on? Jill, what's up? Stephanie says, I want to hear something positive because this has been a drabby day. Well, we're going to start off with a lot of positive and some laughs and whatnot. So hope all you guys are ready for that. Christina, hello. Jeremy, I think I already said hello to you. Jasmine, I think I already said hello to you too. Man, I am looking forward to tonight's show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we made sure that we got Mark up and running, because StreamYard can be a little bit of a fickle beast, and we've kind of had to work through all that stuff. So I'm ready, man. I'm so ready to talk to him, and I'm so glad he's already in the green room. It's always good when guests show up early and make sure that you know that they're there, and it's all positive. Let's see. Michelle, hello. Just all you fine folks, hello. I wore my everybody always asks me about this Prince, what's going on with this. Actually 2 Prince logos just on the same, but it gives it this 3D effect, and everybody always comments on it. It was like, it's nothing magical. It's just 2 of them together. Mary, what's going on? Oh, there's so many you fine folks. And let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Rocket Broadcaster, because we are going to turn on the show. Jeannie, what's going on from GB? Is that Green Bay? Is that what that is, Jeannie? We are going to start it for the fine folks on the Funked Up app. You can listen to the ASCAP licensed Funked Up Radio, and which is going to be named Uptown Radio, renamed Uptown Radio. So we'll be talking about that too, but not till later. We got other stuff to deal with, but let's go ahead and start the actual show. You know how this works. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's in place. You got your popcorn and your soda and whatever it is that you are your daily evening rituals. And we're going to get started. You guys ready? All right, let me go ahead and minimize. We're going to come back and welcome in Mark Webster into the mix, and we'll see you just very, very shortly. So just give me 1 second and let's start this show. Here we go. WTF, welcome to Funkatopia. Yeah, Mark, I got to get you one of these coffee mugs too, man. Tonight we have a very, very special guest with us, Mr. Mark Webster, who many of you know. You've probably seen him in and around Paisley Park. You've probably seen him, just everything that he's been doing all around Minneapolis, and some of the things that he has been instrumental in making happen to continue to honor and bring forward the Prince legacy in the way that it should be, the way that it should be honored. And it was, again, a big shout out. This is actually the actual show. We did the pre-show a little bit, but I'll do a second shout out for Audrey and the team at Purple Genealogy for kind of making this connect and kind of getting Mark connected and getting him on the show so we could kind of chat this through. But tonight I will have a special co-host that will be joining me, because Jeff Paige is not on board tonight, but we've got a special co-host that will be joining in his place right after the Mark Webster interview. And I wanted to go ahead, and I'm not going to introduce him just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and go into the interview with a gentleman that, again, you know, probably from Minneapolis. You've probably seen him because it just seems like most of the events, especially when they're Prince themed events, he is always there. So I want to go ahead and open up the floor and welcome the one and only. Oh, wait a minute. I actually have to start this whole broadcast. I didn't start the broadcast. I want to make sure that I welcome the one and only and illustrious guest Mr. Mark Webster. What's up, man?
How you doing, man? How you doing? That was a big one there. I've never been introduced like that before. Appreciate it.
Man, of course, man. I got your back. And I do have to get you one of these coffee mugs, man. I just got to get you.
I'd love to have one of those.
And let me tell you, I'm seeing the little glimpses of a shirt.
This is the Prince shirt. This is the sign of the shirt.
Oh man, look at that, man.
Yeah, so we're printing some up so everybody can have a shirt, and I think it's a good idea. You know, a lot of people have been requesting them, so we're gonna make sure people have those. So,
man, so are these going to be? We're going to talk about the highway scenario for sure, but are those going to be available for sale somewhere, anywhere?
Right now, you know, we're gonna order them, and we're gonna have after the unveiling of the symbol, we're going to have like a station somewhere probably where we can sell them, and we're going to have some online too where people can probably buy them. So we're setting that all up.
Well, I will tell you that obviously Funkatopia has a store online, funkatopia.com/shop. So if you wanted to sell some of the inventory through Funkatopia, we won't charge you anything. We'll just, when the orders come in, we'll just send them right to you. If you want to send some of those shirts out via that way, you can definitely use our storefront for sure.
I love that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much.
And I know that some of that setup is crazy. Well, let me just say, it's an honor to have you on. You and I have shaken hands a couple of times because it seemed like every time I go into Paisley Park or for an event or something, I see you there and shake your hand. It's just always good to see you out and about and representing Prince and representing his legacy. And it's just, I mean, again, it is truly is an honor to have you on. I mean, you've been doing, most people see you in a role of security in some form or fashion. You've been a security professional for like, we're going to talk about this Memorial Highway. Don't get it twisted. I do want to talk about that, but I want to learn a little bit about you first, because I think it's important to understand just, you know, everything that you've been through and some of your history so that we can kind of see this road to what you're doing now. Right. But you've been a security professional for a really long time. How did you get into working security?
Well, first of all, you know, I got into security because, you know, I knew Dwayne Nelson. Dwayne Nelson was a great friend of mine. Been knowing him for many, 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 many years. And I know Joey Guzman, who also worked with Prince. And when they closed Glam Slam, they opened up the Quest nightclub, which Gilbert Davison was the owner of the Quest nightclub. And
love Gilbert.
Said, Mark, why don't you come and work? Why don't you come and work? And I was saying, I don't know if I want to get in. I like partying and stuff. So they hired me at the Quest Club. I worked there for about a year, 6 months. Gilbert gave me the title as the director of security, and I've worked there for like 6 years. So that's how I started my security thing.
So now I understand from, I guess, you know, just trying to do as much research as I possibly can beforehand, and, you know, find you on LinkedIn and a variety of different places, that you even started your own security company. Yes, I do have it, Extreme Security. We've been around, you know, since the time I've been working at the Quest Club. I've done work for Crave. I've worked for Solera, Varsity Theater with Live Nation. And Smack Shack, and I do a lot of private stuff. I used to be in the club business, but I had to get out of it. It was just getting too wild. So mainly what I do now is a lot of weddings and corporate parties and stuff like that. So that's basically where I'm at with my security company. So like, would Prince frequent these clubs when you used to do any security for him? Like, did he ever come to any one of the clubs that you had to make specific arrangements for security to get him in and out or whatever? No, me personally, I've never did work with Prince. I never worked with him. I mean, as security, but there were places like the lounge that he would come in places like Jasmine and stuff like that. But I've never, when I worked at the Quest Club, he never came in the Quest Club. After he closed Glam Slam, he never came back to that establishment, which was ran by Gilbert Davison. He just never came back in there. So me, with the Prince thing and the party thing, I would just see him in different places. Used to go to Williams Pub. Used to play him at Jasmine's and
the lounge and stuff like that. But I was never on a detail when Prince came in, or I was never detailing, with him when he had to go in a club.
So, from you and I previously talking, you had mentioned the fact that you've pretty much known Prince and his family since 1978. I mean, I'm sure you've crossed paths, many times. Tell me a story about how you, I guess, we'll talk about the couple after party stories in a few minutes, but after we talk about the highway. But just for some levity, where did you first meet Prince, or just figure out?
So what it was, 1978. I graduated from high school. My family lived in Minnesota. My mom's parents lived in Minnesota. My dad's parents lived in Minnesota, but my dad lived in Missouri. So I was in Missouri. I graduated, came to Minnesota, and my brother Brian and he's actually my uncle, but we're kind of the same age, Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell was going to school with Prince, and they played on the same basketball team. So Paul Mitchell and Dwayne was really close with Prince. So they would always say, hey, you need to go see this dude play, man. He's really, good. He's really good. So I said, okay. So me and Dwayne one time went down to the Fox Trap, and we listened to his brother. Now, be in mind, back then, we're listening to the Commodores, Rick James, Earth, Wind and Fire. We're listening to all these R&B acts, and we go in there. I just see this dude really wilding out on a guitar. I mean, he had a raincoat type on. I mean, it was just like different. And I said, wow, Dwayne, this your brother? He says, yeah, it's my brother. So, I wasn't really a big fan of his music, but I was admired by how he was playing the music. I mean, he was playing that guitar. Like, I got a brother who played with Alexander O'Neal, matter of fact, and he played the bass, and he's been on that bass since he was 16, and he's 70. And I admire my brothers playing the bass, but when I seen Prince playing that guitar, it was just phenomenal. So that's what kind of attracted me to Prince, how he played. So, after a while, I just kept going to places where he played, and, he started playing at First Avenue and stuff. I used to go in there and watch him. And I was just amazed by his ability to play. And then he ended up, I kept going to watch him. Then he ended up on American Bandstand. And so we're sitting, I think it was me and my brother and all of us sitting in American Bandstand. We got Prince on American Bandstand, so we're excited. So next thing you know, he gets up there and he plays that song. And I love that song. It's one of my favorite albums, Soft and Wet. It's one of my favorites. I love dancing to it. So he played it, and afterwards, Dick Clark did an interview with him. He didn't say anything. So everybody was like, we had these like arrows in our heart, like, say something, Prince, say something. It just made us feel like, man, you're in Minnesota. You get ready to get big. Say something, say something. He never said nothing. Then he burned out, so he plays a whole bunch of instruments. So me introduced to his brother, Dwayne introduced me to Prince. Prince didn't say too much to me. It wasn't like we were riding around and kicking him in the studios, listening to him make music. It wasn't like that. It was more or less like wherever he played from 1978, and I'm telling you the truth, probably all the way up until 88, 89. Anywhere he played, I tried to go and watch him perform.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I love this shot. This came out of Star Tribune. I love this shot of you. That's a fantastic shot right there.
Thank you.
But man, we got to talk now. I know this interview seems like, for the folks here who kind of wants this really, really in-depth, detailed interview, I know this interview seems like I'm doing broad strokes here, but Mark has a limited amount of time with us tonight. So I want to make sure that we talk about some of the big things here while I have him on board. And I definitely want to talk about this right here, the Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway. This highway renaming is a big deal. And you are the man, the one responsible for helping get a 7-mile stretch of Highway 5 that runs in front of Paisley Park. And it's going to be renamed Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway. I really have to know about, how this all started, where the idea came from, and what was all involved in making this happen, because this is really, really big.
Yes. So the highway's already named Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway. The governor already signed that in. And so we were waiting on the signs to get made. But I'll tell you how it started. And as I was telling you earlier, how I used to watch Prince play and how he performed and how he gave all that he had to audience. And I was at Jasmine one time, and there was about 10 people in this place, and he played like he was playing in front of hundreds of people. And just what he was putting out and giving to people inspired me after he passed away. What can I do to help his legacy? And I mean, I went to sleep, I woke up, I went to sleep, I woke up. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really supposed to speak on where I work really, but, you know, I was there one day and something had told me this highway out here kept calling me. So what I did, I was driving down the highway, and I basically from Mitchell all the way down to Audubon, it added up to almost 7 miles. It was like, what the hell? So I'm like, 7 is irrelevant to Prince. So I'm saying, oh my God. So I sit up, and one day I met this gentleman his name was Bob Finn. And I seen him, I said, and he lives in Chanhassen. I said, Bob, how are you doing? My name is Mark Webster. And, you know, I'm really trying to get into the city hall and talk to him about changing this highway to Prince Roger Memorial Highway. He says, oh, I know a lot of people out here. Maybe I can help you. I said, oh, that would be beautiful. Now, being mine, I've been thinking about this a couple of years and talking to really a lot of people about it. And a lot of people said, oh, that's not going to work. They're not going to let you do that. Leave that alone. Don't touch it. And all this stuff. But Bob Finn got me into the city council. I went to the city council, and I told him, and the city council says, well, we can't do nothing with the highway because it's a federal thing, but we can basically support you. So we'll vote on whether or not we want to support you. So they went 5-0. So they said they support us. So they direct us to a guy named Greg Bowe, who's a representative in Chanhassen and Chaska. So we sit down with him and we told him our ideal. And not Lucy, but Julia Coleman, who was on the city council, who got elected to be the senator of Chanhassen. We got to talk to them and told them our ideal. We drafted up some papers and told them this is what we wanted to do. And they took off. And there we go. We started the highway project, and we worked and worked and worked hard. But the down part of it was the first time we tried, they shot us down, dead on arrival. It's not happening. So because of the budget year of that year, they couldn't find time to push the highway. So we got an email that says dead on arrival, try it next year. And I was like really kind of hurt because I said, This is Prince. Come on now, we got to make this happen. So next year came around. This time, Julie Coleman is a senator. Lucy Ring is the representative. She beat Greg Bowe out. And them two put the team together, and we start marching forward. So me, Bob Finn, then we had a person named Kelly Lukanen, and we also had a person named Sam Cook join the team. And I asked him to help me, so we helped. So all the emails, testify in front of the MnDOT and all that kind of stuff got us rolling. So we got into the House of Representatives for a vote, and the vote came in unanimously, 121 or something like that, to 0, and it passed the House. So we're in the House, so we got momentum. And I was really surprised because a lot of people didn't think it was going to happen. And once that happened, the next step was going to the Senate. And then we got to the Senate, and the Senate voted 55-5. And it was just one of those times, it was like a nightmare. I just didn't believe that they voted this. It was not a surprise, but it was a blessing that they allowed this to go through, and it went through, and it became Prince Rogers Memorial Highway.
You know, it's the 7 thing is just shocking me. This happened in the 7th year since he was gone.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's in 2023, 2 + 0 + 2 + 3 is 7. It's a 7-mile stretch of highway. The bill number, I don't know if you caught this, but the bill number for this is HF 717.
Yes.
And it's how that all just kind of just comes together is just amazing to me. It's just staggering.
There's there's many nights I go to sleep and think about, like, why am I doing this? But I came to the conclusion I know why I'm doing this, because there's some of the things Prince that has allowed me to do to make me want to do this. and this might be sidetracking a little bit, but you know, if it wasn't for Prince, I probably wouldn't have got to meet people like Stevie Nicks. Let me tell you a story real quick.
Oh, wait.
This is what kind of made me want to do something for my brother Prince, and this is real, and it's this real. We were in New York one time, and I'm sitting in a concert, and Dwayne got me some tickets and stuff, and I got there early, so I was like backstage. Now I wasn't back there with Prince or nothing, but we were back there where the catering people were, and we were eating and all this stuff, and you know, they gave me these tickets, and I was getting ready to be showtime, and I go out in the audience, and I'm sitting in, I'm on the 4th row at Madison Square Garden. I said, wow, this is great. So I get all these people, and I'm just partying out. You got to take it. This is 86 or something like that, 85, 86. And I'm sitting there, and there's this lady on the right of me, and she's just a fanatic of Prince. She just says, I love Prince, I love Prince. And I had these 2 other guys on the left of me, and she's on the right. So the lady says, you love Prince? I said, yeah, he's my homie. He says, your homie, what are you from? I said, I'm from Minneapolis. And I said, where are you from? I said, well, who are you? She said, my name is Stevie Nicks, and this is Fleetwood Mac, and we love Prince. I said, what? I looked over, this Stevie Nicks? I said, oh my God. So, and this is a true story. I'm not playing.
Oh my God.
And the next thing, you know, I looked over to the right, and I kind of knew these guys, but I said, I can't believe this is who this is. So the guy on my right, on stage right, my left, it was David Bowie and Mick Jagger.
What?
I said, oh my God. So I'm sitting around these famous musicians who love Prince, and I'm in the midst. And you might not understand what I'm saying, but I could see why Prince was playing. He kept coming by the stage. Like, Prince is very smart about who was in his roles.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm sitting there just jamming. I'm looking like I got Stevie Nicks, Mick Jagger, David Bowie. And like, he knew where we were. I mean, he knew where we were. And it made me feel good that I was in the presence of those people. And them are the type of things that made me feel like, what can I do for this brother after he passed to make right what would be right for me to do? And this highway was one of the things that I wanted to do, because some of the things he's done for me, you know, that made me feel like I had to do something. And that's why you see me, I'm an innovator. I like creating things. That's why I think I did the highway, because some of the things he did. I had a party one time at Sheik's. Prince came to my party, flew in. He was doing a gig in Europe, and he came in. And he called. He said, man, can I come to your party? I said, of course you can. He came right through the door. Nightclub downtown. Listen, he came down there, and he came in, and we had a great time. And like, you leave him alone. You don't mess with Prince. You don't sit there and talk to Prince, because he's not going to talk to you, okay? You know, you say what's up, and you leave him alone. He'll stare at you, and that's basically it. But these are the things that made me feel good about Prince. And I just felt when he passed away that I had to give something back. I didn't mean to go off track with the sign and stuff, but I had to say this story, because this is what encouraged me to go forward with this highway project, because I think he deserves this highway project. I think it's a great piece of his legacy. I remember going out there when it was getting built. I remember it was going out there when it's built. I remember many times I went out there to entertain. Nobody's never turned me down. He's never said I couldn't come in. And that was just me, you know, giving something back. And this highway is not only for me, it's for everybody who loves Prince. So I don't know if I got off track there, but I had to say that much.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, I love the fact that we got the shot of it being signed right there in front of Paisley Park.
Yeah.
You know, in front of that big symbol, and there you are standing right next, man.
Well, what's crazy about this photo is, like, we had no idea that the governor was going to come to Paisley Park, because personally, you know, I had to ask Paisley Park if this is okay. And I did reach out to Londell McMillan, and I said, hey, his security came by here, and they want to do the signing at Paisley Park. Now, we know Prince was not a big political kind of guy, and we didn't look at this as a political stunt. We looked at it as a gift that we were giving to Prince, and they okayed it. The Legacy team okayed it. They came out, and he came. We had a great time, and he signed that bill, and that was just a beautiful moment on Paisley Park's grounds. And I thank Paisley Park, and I thank the legacy team for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, I see you're sharing in the mix, and I think the shot was wider. I think Lundell was off to the right. It's like it's just because everybody was there. Yeah, shout out to Governor Walz for that, for sure. There is so much love, and I wanted to kind of, I know you were in the middle of telling stories and whatnot, but I can't let this go by without showing you some of these amazing shout outs from, there's one from Jasmine saying congratulations.
Okay.
Here's one from Shanna. Also, big gratitude for making the highway renaming happen. So grateful for your hard work and dedication. Obviously, this is pretty much the most succinct way you can say it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Susan's, thank you for what you do. Mary's here. Thank you for your hard work, my friend. And of course, Michelle's absolutely a great idea. Jill said, so glad you kept at it. And now look where we are. Kudos to you and your perseverance. And obviously lots of hearts. And Lisa, thank you, Mark, for literally putting Prince Rogers Nelson on the map in Minnesota.
Yes.
Michelle, glad you didn't give up. There's just so many of them here. And Ocean, thank you, Mark. You are a hero. Absolutely, you are. And here's Eddie over here. Mark, thank you for doing this. The Prince Army should be entirely indebted to you for this history-making memorial of our guy. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Here's Kim. Thank you. And Kiaria was actually reflecting on everything that's been going on. And Jill says, the Sevens and even a person named Sam Cooke. Wow. Now, here's the other thing, too.
Cook with an E, though. Tell him to put an E on there. He'll get mad.
Actually, there was some plays. One of them did it without the E. And I wasn't sure which one because Sam Cooke, the actual singer, spelled it with an E, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, Sam Cooke, the guy who's helping me, he named himself after Sam Cooke. Believe it or not.
Yeah. Did he legally change his name? Is that what it is?
Yes, he did.
And Audrey, again, I don't know if she was tuned in, but I was giving a shout out to Purple Genealogy and the stuff. She said, please donate to the fund. Lots of ongoing costs associated with this. Please put action behind your words. Can you tell me a little bit about this, about the fund that she's referring to and where someone might go do that?
The GoFundMe was a fund to fund the signs and the maintenance that had to be done on the highway. Now, the state or the government funded this program, and I think the only way, to be honest with you, this highway would have gone through is because we choose ourselves to fund the highway. So we set up a GoFundMe, and we actually raised the money, and we paid for the signs, and the GoFundMe should be taken down now because we reached our goal with that, and we appreciate everybody who contribute to the GoFundMe.
Great.
We are really going to try to take those people who did help with this progress and try to put some names on. I'm trying to design a plaque where we can put not the governor, but the mayor of Chanhassen will allow us to put it down there by the memorial somewhere where it's a plaque where we can make a little thing for Prince and then congratulate all those people who did send us some money. Now, we are responsible for the way we want to make this highway look. So there might be another type of fund that we will need in order to make flowers, statues, painting of the streets, whatever it may be. But right now, the GoFundMe will be probably taken down, and we appreciate the people who did participate in that to get the signs up.
I have an idea. It's not like painting, but you know how the dashes in the road, how they sometimes have reflectors on the backside of them, so when you're going down at night you can see where those lines are. What about making those reflectors purple?
Let's do it. Hey, listen, I'm
so
seriously, Jennifer Witt is with MnDOT, and she's open to anything. She's been very, very helpful to us, and she really wants to see that stretch. I mean, we might not be able to get it all done. It's going to take a little time, but if you have any ideas, man, if you're on my Facebook page, message me and let me know, because like I say, I'll be honest with you, we need help. I need help. I need those ideas. I can't do all this. This is a big project, and I would take anybody's suggestions on like helping with that. So yeah, that'd be a great one. Make sure you send it to me so we can put it down.
Oh man, absolutely, for sure. And I just saw this little video too, and this is kind of crazy. It's it's a video that's out on Facebook. I think it's more Facebook Reels, but apparently in Switzerland, they have these strips that are on the side of the road that if you're going the right speed,
music plays.
The speed limit, the music plays.
Yes.
That would be something you could do too, like something that, I don't know what.
It's funny. It's funny you said that because I was sitting down. I was in a meeting with my little team today, and I brung that up.
Really?
Yeah, there's something on YouTube. That there was a guy driving, and when you drive, you hear a little tune in the ridges.
There's got to be some Alphabet Street or something. There's got to be something there. Oh man, see, great minds think alike for sure.
Well, that's a good idea. Let's like I say, if anybody who's listening have any ideas of what we can do, and plus we're going to try to formulate a committee. If you're ever in town, or maybe we have a date that people can come in and just kind of work on the highway. I mean, we could put flowers, we could put maybe statues, we could put a number of things. As long as we meet the safety guidelines, we can do it.
Now, here's the other thing that's really kind of cool is these signs being purple.
Oh.
Now, so there's got to be a story there, but this is kind of a two-part question. First, I imagine there wasn't a whole bunch of pushback, but I don't know if there's any type of guidelines, as far as accessibility or whatever. But also, does the funding that you either raised by GoFundMe or whatever cover the creation of you got to create these signs, but how many signs are we talking about here? Because you're not just talking about the ones that kind of go on the overpass, but there's like side roads and everything.
So here's what MnDOT has allowed us to do. So let's talk about the color of the signs. Okay. So when we pitched the color of the signs, now when we first started in the city council, at the end of the meeting, I said, I like the signs to be purple. And they said, that's not going to happen. And Julia Coleman says, well, let's not race that out. I'm going to help you, Mark. And then she got elected as senator. Oh. So when we went to that second wave of talking about the signs, I had to go in front of the MnDOT and testify. Why would I want the signs purple? Well, everybody in there knew why we wanted it purple, but you just had to, legally and, by things you had to, why you wanted to do this.
Yeah.
So, as we went through that process, they said, well, we'll come back with a decision and all this kind of stuff. And so I had to do some research because MnDOT was really serious about not doing it. So what happened was, in my research, there was a police officer that had an accident in northern Minnesota, and they made his sign blue.
I see.
So when I found that out, I came back to Jennifer Witt, and I said, well, Jennifer, this guy had an accident, his is blue. And she looked into it, says, yeah, you're right. And next thing you know, it says, okay, we're going to make it purple. So they came back with a unanimous vote saying we're going to make the sign purple. And that was a big thing over at the state capitol. I mean, people were just like, it's going to be purple. It's going to be purple. I mean, it was such a bipartisan. I mean, it was Republicans and Democrats. It was just so happy because it was going to be purple. And I was so happy too. Then when I told everybody it's going to be purple, it was just amazing. So I'm so happy they made it purple. And we're going to start off with 2 signs going west and 2 signs going east. But at the end of the day, we're going to try to make at least 7 signs. And like those signs putting up costs about $7,000+ and then you got maintenance fee with those signs. So they're not cheap. And then, we just have to, and we're responsible. The people who are responsible, state is not responsible. Government's not responsible. So we don't pay for them. They'll take those signs down after 10 years. So every 10 years, there's a maintenance fee with them to keep them up and rolling.
Man, and that's the other thing too. There's a street here in downtown Atlanta where I used to work. I used to work in the street called Peachtree Industrial, and they wanted to change the name of the street to Peachtree Avenue or something. It was like, just, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, but it caused a bunch of problems for the business that I was working for, which was a car dealership in downtown Atlanta. And they had like multiple locations because they had notepads and they had, business cards with their addresses and stuff printed on it. And have you gotten any feedback or pushback from any businesses along this 7 mile strip that are like, man, we got to change everything in order to kind of comply with what's happening here? I mean, do you foresee any type of problems coming up
with the signs?
No, just with businesses having to kind of change their whole marketing because they've kind of whatever, if they have any addresses on that road.
Well, the Prince Rogers Memorial Highway, I don't know how that's going to happen. I just know that every business I go to out there is so happy that it's happening.
There you go.
And there's been zero pushback. I mean, there are people delighted. I mean, and we went to businesses and asked them what they thought about it. I didn't think there was not one person who said it wasn't cool. So for them changing addresses or whatever they have to do, I think they're all for it. So no, I haven't had any pushback. But I do want to say something. It's like we have to. Augie Mueller's name was on that highway. Okay, so from Highway 101 all the way out to Arlington, Minnesota, it was Augie Mueller's highway. And
who was
we couldn't put Prince's name on that highway not unless they gave us permission to take 2.5 miles of that highway and give it to Prince, because you can't overlap someone else's name that's already memorialized on the highway. So I had to go out to their town, 50, 60 miles out of town, to talk to their family and ask them would they give us that piece of highway. Now, if they would have said no, then it would have been a dead thing. There's nothing you could do about it. There's nothing to do about it. But they said yes. So that's another thing that we had to go in front of the House and Means Committee and all that stuff and get and show them that they gave us permission to have that piece of highway. So when they gave us that piece of highway, that gave us that 7 mile stretch from Mitchell all the way down to the Audubon area. So if it wasn't for them giving us that stretch, we wouldn't have no Prince Rogers Memorial Highway. And there's nothing that the legislation could do. There's nothing that nobody could do. But that family, I owe them. And just while I'm on this topic, they also had signs for Augie Mueller, but they couldn't afford to keep them up, so they took them down. And this dude's almost 80-some years old, 80-some years old. And I promised him if we got this highway that we would help him get that sign in Arlington, Minnesota. It was about 54 miles out past Chan Hansen. So I owe great, great gratitude to that family for allowing us to have that piece of highway. Because if they didn't give it up, we wouldn't have had a Prince Rogers Memorial Highway.
Now, for those of us, I'm not familiar with Augie. What is the significance?
Augie Mueller was a state representative for Arlington Township in Minnesota. And he was a representative. He was a farmer. So when he passed away, they memorialized that piece of highway from Highway 101 all the way out to where he lived, which is 54 miles out. So that highway was named Augie Mueller Memorial Highway.
Okay. So they still have 51 and a half or 52.
Yeah, they got plenty. And matter of fact, when I talked to the family, they wasn't interested in the highway in Chan Hansen. That's just what the state gave him. That's the state just gave it to him because at that time when he passed away, that was dirt road. They wasn't thinking anything. So, and he was a legislator and he worked in the transportation department too. You can Google him and get your history, but they had it named after him. So when we put the Prince Rogers Nelson thing down, they told us if that family says no, then it's dead to the world. And that family stood up and said, yes, he would be honored and pleased to do it if he was live. And that was our path to really get this completed. So I owe them, and I told them that if this highway is completed, Prince Rogers Nelson, that I'm going to help them get a sign out there in Arlington, Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously if that requires another, fundraising opportunity, I'm sure that everybody here and everybody in the Prince fam would definitely come up and make sure that happened.
And like I say, I mean, these were some older people, and the man literally kind of cried. He says, we didn't have the money to keep it up, so the state took the signs down, and all I want is the sign up. And he says, I still give you that piece of the highway because we love Prince. We've heard a lot about him. They were happy that I reached out to them and asked them for permission. And they just said, all we want, and we're not telling you you owe us for giving this piece, but if we can make it happen. I told them I will make that happen. If I have to work 4 jobs, I'm going to make sure they get that highway, that sign on there.
Just for me mentioning it, we got Jasmine here saying, you sign me up. We got Jill Norman over here.
Yeah.
We will come through for him and his family. So the Prince family will absolutely positively come out of the woodworks to make good on whatever we have to make up.
Yeah. So that's just some of the complications we had, but we all ironed out. Like I say, man, it was so happy to be able to be in the House and in the Senate when they said the votes that we're going to allow the purple sign, and we passed the bill to make that Prince Rogers Nelson Moore Highway. You just don't know how I felt, man. When I was in the press conference, there's this big emotion came over me, and I kind of wept a little bit. And I was asking myself when I got home, what made me feel that way? But, this was something that I had in my head, but I'm going to share it with you. It would seem like Prince patted me on my back and just smiled, like, thanks. Like, giving something back to him because he's given us so much. Yeah. Prince never asked for nothing from us. He did everything himself. And now that he's gone, I think that this highway is a gift from all of us who love Prince. Even if you donated or you didn't donate it, if you don't think I did the right thing or did the right thing, this is from all of us. And I think all of us should be proud that this is happening for him. And the people all over the world know this, and people in the United States and the state, and obviously in the state of Minneapolis and Minnesota are very proud of this. So I'm so grateful, man. It's beyond words, man.
Man, I just, when we first heard that, this was happening, it was shocking to me because I was surprised, just because it's being in Atlanta so long, things just move like at a snail's pace.
Yeah.
But the fact that you were able to get this done, even if you had started the day after he passed away, 7 years would still be an amazing accomplishment to get a huge 7-mile stretch of a major highway renamed. And you did it. How long did the process take from the time you started? You said, I'm going to do
this. The thought came in my head way before, but it took me about 3.5 years. And the thing about it is, you mentioned them numbers, man. And it's like, if we would have went through that first time, it would have been like, the number 6. But then we had to wait. It was a reason why we wait, because it was 7 years after his passing. So it made sense, that we didn't get through the first time. And the second time we came through and we start to realize, man, this is 7 years after his passing. This is perfect. And it went by so smooth. It was so beautiful. And again, like I say, it's beyond, I sit back and, a lot of my family members don't really know what I've done. A lot of people around me don't know what I've done because I don't brag about this. I don't, a lot of people say, I see you on the news. Okay. But, it's just something I feel that I think it has a lot to do with Dwayne, remembering Dwayne and some of the conversations me and him had when he'd be around his brother and he'd come and sit down with me and say, man, what happened? I mean, so many conversations and so many beautiful things and some things not so beautiful and some things with arguments, all kinds of stuff. This made me want to do something for Prince and a little bit for Dwayne too, because, them dudes I miss a lot. And I think this highway from all of us is a blessing to be able to give to the Prince fans.
Well, man, I can't thank you enough. I know, you've already gone beyond what, you said to be able to join us for tonight. And I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking about this project. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. Because I normally get up to Minnesota during the celebration, occasionally outside of that, but I normally get up there during the celebration. I am so looking forward to going up there and having Google Maps or whatever you use, Apple Maps or whatever, be able to say, turn right on Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway. I was like,
another thing we haven't really said publicly yet, but Audubon, where you take a left there, we're changing. That's already changed, but we just have to talk to the city when they're going to put it up. It's going to be Paisley Park Drive. So you're going to be coming down Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway, and when you take that left on the Autobahn, that's going to be a Paisley Park Drive.
Really?
Yes. So we haven't really told anybody that, yet. That was going to be the little add-on thing.
Exclusive.
We're in the process. The city wants to put it in the ground, and we wanted to put it on the arm. If we put it on the arm, then the MnDOT has to do it. If the city does it, then they're just going to put it in the ground. But we want it on the arm. So we're talking with Jennifer Witt about that. So that's the added gift too. So you go down Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway and you take a left on Paisley Park Drive.
And for those who have never been to Paisley Park, it actually sits a little further back from it sits right on highway. I mean, I was actually surprised because I think every single picture that I ever saw of Paisley Park, I always was under the impression it was like sat back and like kind of away. And the first time I ever got to Paisley Park and I'm driving down on this highway and I look over and it's right there, I was just surprised it was always just right there. I was thinking, this is a studio. It certainly has got to be traffic noise, everything you got to worry about when you're recording. I guess not. But yeah, when you get there, you turn left on that road. And I always wondered, that would be great to be called something like Paisley Park. Now, is that going to carry for like the extent of that road? Because that road goes all the way back.
No, they're talking about making that all the way down. And I know you asked me the question about how many signs, like I said, it's a total of 4. We want to get at least 7. We want to at least get total of 7 signs. And MnDOT said, let's just get these up right now. And we'll work on some more signs. So we want a total of 7 signs because we know we love the number 7. So we're going to work on more signs. But like I said, it does cost money and it does cost, you got to pay maintenance and all that kind of stuff. So, we want to complete this mission. This is just the start of the highway. We have a long way to go to make this a really nice Prince Memorial Highway. So, going to take some time, but we'll get there.
Yeah. So when you're saying that there's going to be 7 signs, there's 7 of the big signs, like the one that you were standing in front of, that are going to be placed on the side of the road.
Yes.
What is it going to say on like some of the crossroads and stuff on the side?
Well, the thing about that is because it's a memorial highway and it's a Trump type, what they call Trump, you cannot actually, now the city can do it, but the state won't do that. All their signs are going to be in the ground, okay? But like say if you're going north or south and you want to know where Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway, the city can do it, but the city's not going to put the signs up. MnDOT's going to do it. But MnDOT has sometimes will say they don't want to do it. So that's another fight. But we're working on that too. But, yes, when you come in north or south, you really don't see Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway. But if you're going east and west, you do. So that's something we got to fight with. You're talking about a lot of money because we're taking that task on ourselves.
Yeah. Obviously that's obvious. So if I'm coming from the park across the street, I'm coming from the park and I come up to that intersection, there's not going to be something over the road that says Prince Rogers National Highway or
no, all the things you're going to see that says Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway are going to be in the ground. So if you're
that will say like Highway 5, it would just because it's Highway 5. It's just got that naming to it.
Right. And because it's a memorial. Now, if it was Prince Rogers Nelson Highway, you could do that. But because it has a memorial on it, then that's just how they do it.
Right. That's just okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
understood.
That's just how they do it. But we're fighting. I mean, we've changed it. We got the purple sign, so we could probably get something changed too. I mean, they recognize this is Prince, man. We're gonna make it right, man, for him. So whatever it takes to make it look right, so when people come down the highway, they see this and they feel this. So yeah,
man. I am so looking forward to it. And again, I can't wait to get up there next year and hopefully the GPS will act accordingly.
It will. They already use it sometimes. I already see people use it.
Oh,
Google's already doing it, So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, well.
Before we go, I just want to let you know too, we're doing a unveiling of the sign on August 7th. And we will be on the property of Paisley Park. They approved it. And we'll do you know, a little thing there like we did when the governor signed. And once we're done there, we're going to go down by the memorial, and the sign's going to be right there. And then they're going to reveal the sign, and we're going to go over to Lake Ann Park. We're going to, you know, have a little party there. And after that, downtown Crave is giving me the rooftop to have a party. So if anybody's going to be there and they're listening, they're going to be more than welcome to come to the party at Crave. So we got to party it up, man. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh. So where are there like official details for this event on August 7th? Because this is one of the reasons why we did the show here, is because a lot of people do make last minute arrangements, you know, to kind of come out. And this kind of gives them a little bit of time to do a little bit of planning. If you want to go out for this unveiling on August 7th, or if you're driving distance away from this, August 7th, what time? And again, is there any place online that has all this information?
So no, we don't have anything online, because when you're dealing with MnDOT, when you're dealing with like the governor and stuff, they don't really tell you a lot of stuff because of security issues. But what I do know is it's going to start at 10 a.m. on the property of Paisley Park.
Okay.
We'll have a little thank yous, and a little governor will say something, everybody will say something. Then we'll leave that property and we'll walk down to the memorial, and there'll be a sign right there just planted, and we'll do the unveiling there, and then we'll go over to the park. Now at 6:30, 7 o'clock, we'll be downtown at the Crave restaurant rooftop.
All right, so this is like a full day event. Pretty well. There's gonna be a lot of stuff in between. There'll be some spaces in between the unveiling and that party, but so you can make this a whole day in Minneapolis. Well, in Chanhassen.
Oh, ain't no question.
So
it's going to be a beautiful day. Like I say, you know, there's a team working on some stuff like the Purple Genealogy. They're helping out, and we got some other people who are helping out, and you know. We'll tie up everything in the next couple of days and get something on either my Facebook page or get it out there to some of the groups and let them know what they got to do if they come in. But it's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be a beautiful day. I mean, the most beautiful thing about it, we got the bridge. We call MnDOT. MnDOT got the bridge turning purple, and we're trying to illuminate the whole downtown to turn purple. So on that day, when you go downtown Minneapolis, it should be all purple.
Oh man. Well, I assume that Star Tribune and all the places that are in Minneapolis are going to be covering this, the news and everything else. If people do go down there, what would you suggest? Because I assume that, you know, Paisley Park can be pretty, you know, restrictive on parking over there for just people just.
Well, everybody's coming out. They have to, we got permission. MnDOT got permission for everybody to park over at Lake Ann Park.
Okay.
There's plenty of parking over there. We don't encourage anybody to park on the property of Paisley Park at all. So if you're going to come and you're driving, we prefer, and MnDOT will have signs too posted up. If you're coming to the event, to park over at Lake Ann. So there's plenty of parking over there, and people probably hope it's a beautiful day. They can just walk over.
Right. And for those who've never been there before, and this may be your first time coming, Lake Ann Park is across the highway.
Yeah.
And essentially you can park over there, and the golf cart path, or it's not really a golf cart path, but
bike path.
Yeah. The bike path pretty much goes from there, and it goes underneath the highway, winds through. And of course you got your graffiti bridge set up. You got going through there, and then it goes under the highway and then comes up right to Paisley Park. So definitely go down there August 7th.
Yeah, and we'll probably have people in positions to kind of guide people over there, you know, so we can do something. MnDOT really banks on safety and people getting there. I don't know how many people are going to come, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of people. I mean, it's a historical moment in the state of Minnesota and the world to see a great musician have a highway right in front of his house named after him.
Oh my God! Well, you just talked about it.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing, man. You know,
it is a beautiful thing, and you just talked about it on Funkatopia Live, so I can pretty much guarantee there's going to be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you know, sometimes I try to wake myself up to like, is this really happening? You know, is this real? And it is real, and I'm so grateful and thankful for all the people who help and contribute to make this happen. And I appreciate you having me on your podcast. First time I've ever been on one. I hope I did right. I hope I said
killed it.
Everything. I hope I said everything okay, and everybody understood what I said, and don't mean no harm to nobody. But I just want Prince to be recognized. And I think this is a good part of his legacy, but there's other things too that we need to work on in terms of his legacy too. But this is a major part. This highway will never go nowhere ever in life. As long as there's a road, his name will be on that road.
Man, I cannot thank you enough for all of your hard work. I wish that I could have showcased every single positive comment and praise that you have that's scrolling up here on this chat area, but that would take up literally would take up every second of the entire show, and hopefully you can rewatch it and see some of this chat replay. But Mark, thank you so much for coming on and sharing some of these details, man. It's been absolutely fantastic having you aboard, man.
I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate your fans, you know, with the beautiful comments. I really do. But you make sure you send me your size so I can get you this shirt, man. Okay.
Yeah, and of course, I don't need a size on this. I can send you one of these.
Okay, send me one of those. We'll swap out each other. But no, for real, I really appreciate you having me on your show, and I really appreciate your fans. And yeah, get up to Minneapolis soon, Minnesota soon, so you can see some of these signs, man.
Man, I appreciate you, and much love, and we'll talk soon. We'll talk every week. We'll talk.
Okay. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you.
All right, Mark. We'll see you later. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, man. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Mark Webster from, well, he has his own security company. You may see him quite a bit at Paisley Park. And also on top of that, he is spearheaded so many things. And the symbol out in front of Paisley Park, the renaming of this highway, the 7-mile stretch of Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway, which is going to happen. The unveiling is going to happen again, to kind of recap, on August 7th at Paisley Park at 10 a.m. So you can park over at Lake Ann Park and you can come on over from there. And then they're going to be doing the unveiling there. I guess they're going to kind of come over and I guess do some unveiling. They're going to have a little party that's going to happen over at Lake Ann Park. And then later on that night, August 7th, they're going to be having a rooftop party at Crave. So let me just tell you, if you are within driving distance, I wish I could make it. I would love to go. But I have used up all my vacation time this year, but I am looking forward to going up there next year and seeing all those signs up. And, I appreciate it. And again, one more shout out to Purple Genealogy for getting in touch with Mark and having him come on the show and kind of share some of these details, because some of that stuff is just mind-boggling to me. It's just, it's just fantastic. So all that being said, I am so glad to have Mark on the show and that he agreed to come on, because did he seem like somebody who's never done a podcast before? Like, not at all. Absolutely not at all. All right. As you can see, I am kind of by myself here today because my co-host Jeff Paige had some work stuff that he ended up getting called out of town for. And so I was going to do the show solo, but I was like, I wonder what it would be like to bring on one of my friends that is close and dear to my heart, that I love hanging out with any possible time I can get. It's like, you want to come on the show? You want to co-host for the night? And some of you may know him and some of you may not. If you don't, by the end of this broadcast, you're going to want to know who he is. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome my special co-host tonight, the one and only Lenny Beason, aka Lenny B, aka Elboogy. What is going on, my man?
What's up, my funk brother?
It is so great having you on here, man. Oh my God. What you been doing?
Man, look, I'm glad I made it on time. I was breaking all kind of traffic laws, my brother.
I know it wasn't on Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway, but
the Glam kid, you know what I'm saying? I had to go to football practice with my grandson, Prince, who's a star quarterback, you know what I'm saying? And my other grandson, Lapierre, aka Lappy, aka LP, the train, you know what I'm saying? So, and of course Paisley, she's cheerleading for both her brothers. So that was,
wow.
You know, so it's like 85 degrees outside, hot, and I'm like, out of all the days, the wrong way to go with the traffic. I'm saying, oh Lord. I told my man Chris, 820, 825. But hey, I made it, my man. I feel good, brother.
Well, it's okay because one of the things is that we were like talking about, Mark was only going to be on for like 30 minutes. He was like, yeah, let's just talk about the highway. And I was like, oh, it always happens that way. People will say, oh, I'd only want to be on for the show, for a little bit of time. And then, we'll, and then it ends up being really long. I think the first time I interviewed Ingrid Chavez, she came on the show and, her manager told me she's only going to talk about 30 minutes. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I just want to talk with her. I'll just have to be, real succinct with my questions and I'll figure it out. 2.5 hours later, she was still talking. I was like, all right, this is going great. So, and then she came on a second time and a third time. So, Ingrid Chavez, really good friend of the show. And I haven't had her on in a while. I had to reach out to her and see what's going on. But man, all right. Elboogy in the house, man. So you and I are going to have a little bit of fun tonight because we're going to talk about lots of different topics. We're going to talk about some news topics, and I've got some funny clips that, you and I, whenever we hang out in Minneapolis, we always kind of cut up and we just kind of have fun and just whatever. So I kind of felt like it would be fun to have a little bit of news clips. But there are some things that I do want to talk about that, there's one specific Prince related thing that I'll talk about because I have one item for Controversy Corner. I was going to do like a whole Controversy Corner section where we talk about things that are controversial, but there's one that I'm going to talk about, and you know what it is because you were there when it all went down, and we're going to talk about the Damon D scenario.
Okay, yeah.
Only because of the fact that, and we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about that towards the end of the show. And the only reason why I was even going to bring it up is because we really needed to come to defense of Damon. And on top of that, to try to, talk some levity into this scenario, because these people out here, some of these people that claim that they're Prince fans and experts and stuff like that just make me crazy. And as I said in the beginning of the show, you were probably watching a football game. I am not a Prince expert. I am not a Prince expert. Okay. I know a lot, and we'll talk about some of the things that, but I'm not. There's only one Prince expert, and that was Prince. He's the only one that knows everything about him, what he thought, what he felt, what he liked, what he didn't like. He's the only one. Everybody else, STFU, you know what I'm saying? So we'll talk about this in a minute. We're going to talk about that. But I wanted to talk about some other things since I have you on the show, because, there's some things that are relevant to you. First thing I want to talk about is this unbelievable place that I didn't even know was even coming into existence, the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame.
Yes, sir.
So for those who don't know, you can actually visit this website. It's CincyBlackMusicWalkOfFame.org. Or if you just look it up, Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame, you'll find it, but it's Cincy, CINCY, BlackMusicWalkOfFame.org. They got to make that shorter somehow. But anyways, it was founded and created by the Hamilton County Commissioner, Alicia Reese, who wanted to create this organization to kind of celebrate the legacy of untold stories and music artists, songwriters, producers, and musicians from Cincinnati, also Hamilton County, and in some cases, Southwest Ohio. And when she brought it up, it was unanimously passed by Hamilton County, the Ohio Board of Commissioners on July 1st, 2021. So unanimously passed. And so now they've got this international state-of-the-art outdoor interactive permanent tourism attraction on it's like right there on Ohio riverbanks. Now, was this the official opening of this? Was this not and what's amazing is that what's really, really cool though, and I don't know how much you know, but you were there. So tell me a little bit about this place, how you heard about it, and how long has this been here?
Well, first off, the county commissioner, Alicia Reese, is a close friend of my family. And she's she's officially the queen of the Queen City now. She's done so much for the community, you know, black and white, but she graduated from Grambling State, you know, and she's been pushing or had a vision. This is her vision that she brought to life, man. And it's the second year. The first year was last year, 2022, but they didn't have the interactive and they didn't have the actual breaking of they had the groundbreaking, but they didn't have the interactive thing put up, you know.
Right.
So this was our first year walking through the interactive experience.
Wow, that's really cool.
It was a very emotional, inspirational event. Last year, they inducted Bootsy.
Yeah, and actually, this is there's two. Well, they were in 2021. I actually have some of this. This is the 2021 inductees, which were Bootsy Collins, obviously shown here, who's been with James Brown, Parliament, and of course, you know, solo work along with, you know, and you have it was stuff with his brother Catfish, but also inducted was Otis Williams from The Temptations. Dr. Charles Fold, who I wasn't familiar with, but I know he's a gospel performer, and of course the illustrious Isley Brothers.
Yes,
you know, Shout, Footsteps in the Dark. I'll go on their laundry list of all the songs they had. Then last year in 2022, the inductees were Penny Ford, who she's a solo artist, but you probably remember her from Snap.
Yeah,
The Power.
Yeah.
But she was also in Climax and Soul to Soul also.
Exactly.
Midnight Star, jazz guitarist named Wilbert Longmire.
Yes.
And High Tech, who was a producer he's been a producer for Talib Kweli and Mos Def, and of course I guess that by default he was also the producer for the Black Star stuff as well, but he works on the Aftermath team. He was also inducted as well. And then, of course, that last year they did that free performance from Zap, which was. Were you there for that?
Oh yeah, I got to take. A matter of fact, I reposted it probably yesterday.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's. I gotta check that out.
You know how the memory section of Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just go. Yeah. Oh, right. Gotcha.
So I just reposted it. Matter of fact, the pictures you got right now, I repost. I was going to repost them, but it was like I said, that's going to confuse people since I just posted the 2023.
So I'm going to show some of the pictures, the other pictures that you took as well. The ones where you were personally with them, I've saved that for the end part here. For those listening on the Funked Up app, you can tune in at youtube.com/Funkatopia or facebook.com/Funkatopia, FUNKATOPIA, and you can kind of see some of these photos, or you can just watch it later if you're listening in the car. That's perfectly fine. But this year, for the 2023 inductees, there was The Deal, the band The Deal. Now, a lot of people don't. If you remember the song Body Talk, Two Occasions. I'm trying to think of some of the bigger hits that they had. Only was I can remember off the top of my head. Go ahead.
Shoot 'Em Up Cowboys, I believe, was an R&B hit.
Yeah. But a lot of people may or may not know this, but Babyface and L.A. Reid came from that band originally. They were in that mix. I wonder if they'll be inducted because both of them are from Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, so I'm just surprised they haven't been inducted, especially Babyface. I mean, both of them are.
With the song, it was Shoot 'Em Up Movies, not Cowboy. My bad. Matter of fact, at the festival, Babyface performed Saturday night, but he couldn't make it to the event. So
okay,
L.A. Reid was there. Matter of fact, that's L.A. Reid in the picture here behind Dee Bristol, who was the lead singer, and L.A. Reid has the blue suit on. So
yeah, there he is. Yeah,
L.A.'s got the blue suit. And what a lot of people don't realize with the whole Babyface thing was that he wasn't the lead singer of The Deal. It was Carlos and D. And so they were the flavor of the deal that made the deal. But Face was a big part of that with writing and all of that. You know, him and we along with D and Carlos. So it was very great to see all of them together. I wish Face could have made it. And also Midnight Star is the group that pulled the deal up and mostly produced their first album.
Yeah, I mean, Midnight Star is legendary, and they still have all their original members, if I remember correctly, which is just shocking to me.
Reggie and Vincent, you know, they struck out, I want to say late 80s on their own, the Calloway Brothers, and they had that song out, I Want to Be Rich.
Mm-hmm.
They also wrote songs for Gladys Knight, you know, Love Overboard, Teddy Pendergrass. And so they've had a good career producing, and, you know, like that I Want to Be Rich song is, you know,
I want to be rich.
I mean, check it out. They were trying to get at the Lionel Richie, but Lionel Richie declined.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's, yeah, lesson learned. I think he's going to do all right, though.
Yeah.
And then, of course, also inducted in 2023 was James Brown. James Brown to me was a little bit unusual because it's kind of a little bit of a stretch. I don't know because I think King Records was based in Cincinnati, which released Please, Please, Please when he was with the Famous Flames. Is that the angle they went in with James Brown to get him inducted?
Well, with James, I believe it's the presence in the community, and he recorded a lot here. Like Boosie and them used to hang around King's Records and all of the a lot of the big artists back then. You know, it was like James Brown, even though he wasn't from here, was kind of like Prince. He was the dude, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody wanted to play with him, and just from hearing like my uncles talk about him and my aunts and everybody that was from that era, because I was a baby, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what was going on, but James played a big role in the community. So it's kind of like he's a Cincinnati native by just being it all the time.
Yeah. And then also inducted was Louise Shropshire. She's wrote a lot of gospel hits, a lot of hymnals and stuff. Was also really close to MLK Jr.
Right. And I didn't know. Now this is what tripped me out. I didn't even know that. I mean, she made the song the spiritual. Hey Mom, what's the song? What's the song that Miss Shropshire made?
You're calling out to your mama for a hymnal. Okay, go ahead.
What's the song, Mom? What? That Miss Shropshire made?
We Shall Overcome.
We Shall Overcome.
Really?
How did I forget that? She wrote We Shall Overcome.
Wow.
Matter of fact, Belinda from Midnight Star, and not Belinda, Shirley Murdoch sings the tribute song. If you go to my page, you'll see the video of Shirley Murdoch singing the song, the original.
Wow. And then, of course, the last inductee was Felipe Wynn, who was from the Spinners, sang Rubber Band Man, One of a Kind, Love Affair, did all that stuff. But I mean, the thing about the Spinners, which is kind of crazy, is that I was kind of trying to do a little bit of research, and they had 19 top 10 hits at R&B, which is only second behind the Jackson 5. But they kept on getting ignored by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame until this year, 2023, the Spinners are being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, even though it's kind of unfortunate, but I don't know what year all the other members have passed away, but there's only one surviving member of the Spinners, Henry Fambrough, who is 84 years old. Right. Hopefully he'll be able to be there and accept it so that there's actually somebody from the Spinners that's going to be there to be able to accept that award. But man, this is really cool. So what's the interactive part of this? So if people go there, and because they said it's outdoors, so when people go, what's interactive about it?
Well, from what I could gather, since it was so many people, I didn't get to see the Bootsy and them go through, because they went through first, and Alicia Reese was explaining what was going on. It's on. I think it's on the website that you mentioned earlier. But the one I did was you could play with Bootsy.
Oh, okay.
So Bootsy would come on the screen. He would need a drummer, a guitar player, horn, all that type of thing, and then it was like a tribute to his brother Catfish on the guitar. So you see Catfish on playing, and you stand in these spots where there's like feet, like footprints. So when you stand in the spot and the video comes on, you're playing the guitar. You're standing there.
Wow.
What concert's going on? It looks like you're playing guitar. And then
cool.
You can download the video onto your phone and keep it keep it for a keepsake.
That's pretty cool. Does it cost anything?
No, everything's free.
Wow. All right. This is in downtown Cincinnati on I don't know, how far are you away from this?
Oh man, 8 minutes.
Oh. That sounds like a little distance.
Yeah,
walk there. Yeah, all right. That's pretty cool.
It's beautiful. I haven't gone at night yet because everybody keeps telling me to go at night and how beautiful it is at nighttime. It looked cool in the daytime, but I'm gonna check it. I might go live down there one time. I just when I'm walking through, just to show everybody what it looked like at nighttime.
I'm gonna check that out. And of course, then then Ohio players did their thing up there and playing live.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I can't. It's the photo's not close enough for me to see the members, but obviously, you've got Sugarfoot's no longer there, but you got so many different. I don't know.
It's you know how that is. It's kind of like
they're always good no matter what everybody that steps up there plays their part.
There's a few members that I guess were kin to some people. I mean, I know Sugar. I don't think anybody in the band now is kin to Sugarfoot.
No.
I know there's a couple of the band members who have passed or whatever, like their nephews or something are in the band, but they were tight. They were tight. So yeah, it ain't gonna be but a matter of time, I believe, before they get in. And like you said, in Southwest, like they're going to probably expand it to even maybe to induct the OJs in the future and just the whole Ohio vibe. But right now, like you said, they're concentrating on a lot of the unsung artists from the Southwest area. Like you got groups like you got Slave, you have
Ohio
Wave. You know what I mean? So don't be
Slave is amazing. One of my favorite bands, all-time favorite bands.
Definitely. And these last few years of me going is definitely an event that's just not for us, even though it is about Cincinnati. Anybody who loves music, to me, will love this event.
Yeah.
Especially, you got I didn't get the chance to film it, but Alicia Reese was talking about the legendary Fifth Floor Studios in Cincinnati, and Prince recorded there. Bootsy, a lot of people recorded there. That a lot of their masters got burnt up in the big fire that happened. Prince's masters got burnt up from what I remember. But I think somebody gonna have to tell me, what song. I don't know if he recorded Love Bazaar there, or I know he recorded 2 songs at Fifth Floor Studio. So we're gonna have to get one of our boys on it.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably find out. We could probably head out to Prince Vault or something, do a search for him. But you also met like a lot of these inductees too.
Oh yeah.
You got. I mean, you want to talk people through everybody here?
Yeah.
I thought that was Sinbad for a second. I was like, no, it's not Sinbad.
No, that's D Bristol. And the one with the hat on is Carlos Green, and they were the lead singers for the deal. You know, so they were like I said, the peanut butter and jelly of the deal. Even though, like I said, Face went on the big artist he was that he's been. The deal, everything revolved around D and Carlos.
Yeah, and then we got these two.
And that's KO on the right with the bald head. KO is the bass player for the deal. And I believe he's produced a few acts. He's kind of like how Jelly Bean was with the time, where he did a lot of acts you wouldn't know that he's produced or co-produced. You know, like him and Bo Watson from Midnight Star that does some stuff together. You know, so KO is one of the baddest bass players around. Matter of fact, L.A. Reid said that KO was top 5. So,
wow, that's saying something.
And now the man with the hat on is Lincoln Ware. He's the DJ that I grew up on when I was little. And this year it's his 50th year anniversary on the radio. Now he does talk radio, but his claim to fame back in the day was doing, you know, the records. He wasn't no mixer or anything, but he was the guy. You know, he interviewed James Brown. He interviewed everybody that's anybody that came through Cincinnati on the R&B front. And we're a part of his, me and my mom, we're a part of his walking club on Saturdays, and we go walking, you know, health is wealth. You understand what I'm saying? So
right. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Lincoln's connection with everybody is he interviewed everybody, and he knows all the stories. He knows all the bones buried.
I love those people. Those are important people to know.
Right. You know, and he gave Alicia Reese her start in radio, being a producer of his show back in the 90s when there was the first talk radio, black talk radio in this area, and only really.
Wow.
So, you know, Lincoln Ware is a very special cat. Matter of fact, I think he's in the top 40 DJs in America.
Wow, that's really cool.
He's been getting last like 5-6 years. He's been piling up the awards, and I'm glad he's still here. You know, I mean, like I said, when I was 5 years old, I used to call in, you know, to his radio show. And in fact, that he took off. This is funny because he likes Prince too, but you know, he's still a James Brown. You know, he's like, Prince is bad, but now he got it from James Brown. Now I can't wait to say. He wasn't them cats, you know. But he went on vacation, and his partner, the Court, who's also was a very popular DJ, he passed about 10 years ago. And the Court was fortunate enough to get to interview Vanity 6 at the radio station during the 1999 tour.
Wow.
And that was the first time, I would play basketball at this park that's like probably 10 minutes from the radio station. And we had the radio on in the car, and we were shooting. And the Court says, we're going to be interviewing Vanity 6 within the hour, right? Everybody on the basketball court got in their cars and flew down to the radio station.
Oh my God.
And got to see, that's the first time I ever got to see Vanity up close in person. All three of them, you know what I'm saying? But we were all just struck by Vanity's beauty, you know, and then when she waved at us and said hi, we just melted, you know. She was talking to me, bro. Hey, It's 50. It's 50. It's 50. Sweaty, smelly. Playing basketball out there.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
You know how when it's so hot outside, you sweat so much, you got the white stuff around your mouth, and the sweat drop on your face, and you look like a statue. We all, oh, she talking to me, man. I'm going, no, not with them ashy lips you got. She ain't talking to you, player. But and then Malinka was so upset.
Oh my God.
He was like, I missed 96. It was the day.
That's crazy. Yeah, those types of stories are amazing. And of course, I have one more photo here.
My man Reggie Calloway. Reggie Calloway. I'm gonna say this about Mr. Calloway. At the height, the peak of his career, what I love about it, he never changed, man. He's the same. He would go to Frisch's by himself, just sit there. You know, Freakazoid is just blowing up, and he's going to Frisch's and talking to us, you know, and just treating us like, you know, he never had staritis. And to this day, he's like that. And I really appreciate that about Reggie. And he met my mom, and I didn't tell my mom at the time that she kind of reminds us of his mother that passed, Miss Calloway, who was the manager of Midnight Star when they started. But he told my mom, he said, "Oh, I cut my mom's hair just like you wear your hair." And my mom was sitting up there. She was just beaming. but I took the event because, see, my mom wanted to go see Al Green Friday night, but she wasn't feeling well, so she didn't get to go. So I wanted to go to the Black Walk of Fame ceremony because she hadn't been. She heard about the last year and everything, and I knew how special this would be. So I took her, and she lasted because she got her energy up because my mom wasn't feeling that well this week. But she had a great time, and I'm glad I took her. And it was a very, like I said, emotional and inspirational moment for both of us because she remembers some of the songs that they would talk, like especially the Spinner stuff, and you know, just
oh yeah, of course.
You know, and it was, like I said, it was a great time. And the good thing about it, it happens every year around Cincinnati Music Festival time. So when all the people come from out of town, we had a lot of people from Houston, and there's some people California came through, you know, and it was a great event. And like I said, you don't have to be from Cincinnati to enjoy it because it was live. I mean, even the house band is an all-star Cincinnati band that they put together, and they cold, you know. So it was great. And I tried to send you this video, but it was too big, and I didn't know how to break it down. The beginning of the show, they went through these songs. They went through Bruno Mars, Earth, Wind, Fire, blah, 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 blah. But the song to start off the event was Purple Rain.
To start the event?
So
how do you start an event with Purple Rain?
Well, song before they call the, you know.
Oh, okay.
Before they call the host out and get everything going. And I'm sitting there with my mom going, ain't this something? They play Prince. I was like, yep, gotta play some Prince. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't start a show with Purple Rain. Ladies and gentlemen. It just don't work. It's a great song. It's not an opener though.
So it's on my page. I was trying to send it. I said, damn, because you told me to send the pics, right?
Yeah.
At the last minute, I said, well, it might be too late now. And I tried to send it, and it was too large. I said, well, I ain't got time to try to break it down. So I just said, well, shit. I just, you know, you can see it on my page, man. Shit. All
right. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun here now. So we got the so everybody wants to check out the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame. At I don't know the exact address. Just go to Cincy Black. Just look it up on Google because that's a really long URL.
It's between the Bengal Stadium and the Red Stadium and the Underground Railroad.
Okay,
right there. Can't miss
Yeah, I really want next time it's really a thing I love about Ohio is the diversity of Ohio, the music of Ohio. I think about all the bands that came out of Ohio. It's like, dang, what is somebody had said that in the chat room too. I think it was Jill Norman. She's like, there's something in the water up in Ohio because all the music that came out of there, I mean, all the funk that came, especially all the funk that came out of Ohio. Now, some of that, the core of that, the history of funk is still right there in Ohio, but there is this surgence or resurgence more that's happening in North Carolina, just like that Charlotte area. And I don't know what it is in that Raleigh area. I don't know what's happening, but a lot of funk bands, especially current funk bands like Lettuce and New Master Sounds and all these other bands that are out there, Fishbone, they all converge in North Carolina. I don't know what's going on in North Carolina, but like a lot of funk is coming up out of there. And Lisa says Dayton. I mean, you got so many different places in Ohio that's just the core of funk. I mean, I think if you probably went down a rabbit hole to try to figure out where funk started. I mean, you're not going to like go all the way back to Africa, but I'm talking about like in the States, like so much of it rooted and uprooted out of Ohio, man. It's just so much of it. And it's amazing. I think it's worth a study for sure. If someone's had to done that research, I can't imagine.
It's my musical lifeline, man. I mean, of course, I grew up in a household where my mom and dad played Motown. Of course, I grew up on Jerry Butler, Iceman.
Yeah, man.
Of course, James. So it's like all I knew was funk. I love funk. Now anything else that wasn't funk, I was like, what the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? Where now, when people hear real funk, it's almost like they, especially this generation, they be like, what, how I dance to that, man? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, it is weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, I'm the same way because I always, whenever I talk about my childhood when I was in the, spent some time in the projects, lived in the projects of Detroit, and it was a really weird spot. This is in the 70s, and there was this really weird spot because I had this little transistor radio, and for some reason, I don't know if it was because of the reception with where we were, because you're in those housing projects and brick buildings and stuff. It was like hard to get radio stations for whatever reason, or it was always a mishmash. But there was two clear stations that always happened. There was one, and I don't remember which one it was, but it played funk all the time. It was Stevie Wonder. It was Ohio Players. It was Earth, Wind and Fire. It was, it was Parliament Funkadelic. All that stuff was there. And then during the day, they kind of toned that down a little bit, and they would play a little bit of, they would play the Marvin Gaye and the Curtis Mayfield and all that stuff. And so that's what I listened to like all the time when I was a kid, all the time. And then there was one more radio station that was more classic rock. So you had your Steve Miller Band and your Beatles and all that stuff. And so it was like this. But for the most part, that's one of the reasons why I gravitated so much towards that music. It was just, that's just what I heard. That's what I listened to all the time. Right. And it was, and that's the reason why Prince was, I didn't really gravitate towards Prince until really, probably until Dirty Mind, because that funk started to really kind of get in there with his stuff, and then when Controversy hit, I was just like, oh shit, I'm sold. And then 1999, it was like, I'm all in, and then you kind of get attached at that point in time. And it took me a while to kind of go back to the For You and the Prince album. It just took me a while to get to that. But now, obviously years later, I love all that stuff, but man.
You see, my Uncle Jerry, was a Q. So when I used to go to Q parties, that was the litmus test for songs that I would play at my birthday party or my sister's birthday party. So is like when I first heard Prince, like I said, I thought he was a girl. So I didn't really start what you call really liking Prince a lot until Head and Sexy Dance.
Yeah.
At the Q parties. And then, of course, 1999, you know, when 1999, well, Controversy, they played Do Me Back. They played all of his ballads at the Q parties. So, you know, that was the bump and grind segment time. You played some slow songs in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you wasn't gonna hear She's Out of My Life no more. Prince Bub Michael straight out the bump and grind section of the Q party.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, a little blue light in the basement never hurt anybody. That's for sure. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun here. We're gonna talk about some different things. I'm gonna share. I don't know if anybody knew this. We're just gonna have some fun with a couple of different things. The one thing here, I'm gonna share this, and this is more of a public service announcement from our girl Shelby J, because come to find out, and she just announced this on her channel too, is that Shelby J is now on Cameo. So I don't know if anybody knows this, but if you want a special shout out or a special video message created for yourself by Shelby J, Shelby is on Cameo right now. So you can actually go to cameo.com/Shelboogie, SHELBOOGIE, and Shelby's on there. You can, you know, and you can reach out to her. And I think if you've never signed up in Cameo before, this is just one of these services where you can kind of sign up and that's it. You can just sign up and you can get like stars and stuff to give you little shout outs and do whatever you wanted to do. But yeah, I thought it was really, really cool to see Shelby J on here. So
Shelby be grinding, man. I love Shelby is always forward thinking,
hustling.
Keep it positive, keep it moving, keep it positive, keep it moving. I love it.
Yeah, so she's out there hustling right now. You know, if she's not crocheting quilts, not quilts, the blankets, she's making the shell beads, the bracelets, and then of course now she's doing this. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we got to keep those bills paid. So absolutely, positively, if you're a big fan of Shelby J, she's doing this thing on Cameo. Just hit it. Go to cameo.com/Shelboogie, SHELBOOGIE, Shelboogie, and check her out, because I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I've been a fan of Shelby for as long as I can remember, but yeah. Birthday wish, is it? Lisa says birthday wishes. Is it Shelby's birthday today? I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
Who are you doing birthday wishes to, Lisa? I gotta make sure I'm not.
The only birthdays lately has been Little Red Corvette, May Lane's birthday.
Yeah, May Lane. Yeah, and I forgot to say this. God dang it, I forgot to say this. Yeah, May Ling Stonepool, Little Red Corvette. I know this is a big controversial. We're not doing the controversy corner yet, but I know it's a big controversy. But that she is the story behind Little Red Corvette, and I know that sends everybody up in arms, and especially Jill Jones and all those folks. And
yeah,
it's fine when this book kind of comes out. It'll kind of make a whole bunch more sense to you, but. Mark Webster did mention that he used to go and hang out at Foxtrap, and that was a big, I guess, club that she used to dance at frequently. Yep. That Prince used to go to frequently. Mark used to go there frequently, and I was going to ask him whether or not she even knew whether or not they knew each other or not. But yeah, Mei Ling's birthday was this week. And I don't know who else.
I'm missing some. Like I said, Cats was yesterday, Who else was it? Well, I know Gary Scheider, the late Gary Scheider's birthday.
Yep.
But I'm missing a purple person. I'm trying to think of who, because all these birthdays be popping up more like.
Yeah, especially this time of year. It's like bam, 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 bam. They're everywhere. Well, Lisa was saying you can send birthday wishes through Cameo. That's what she was saying. So, okay, yeah. So, yeah, you wanted to, like, if you have somebody who's a huge Shelby J fan, you can forget. Oh, look, Mei Ling Stonepool's in the house. What's going on, girl? Hey, Mei Ling.
Hey, what's up, Little Red?
Little Red Corvette in the house. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, so if you have like a special shout out that you want to do, you have a special anything, this is a great opportunity. Go take care of Shelby. Go support Shelby. Cameo.com/ShelBoogie. SHEL Boogie. Just do it. I mean, it's $50. She'll give you a personal message, and trust me, Shelby always goes above and beyond every single time. So, you know, if you ask her to do something like that, she's going to go above and beyond. All right, we're going to have
Rosie Gaines' birthday.
Rosie Gaines' birthday. I mean, when was that?
It was Rosie Gaines' birthday.
When
Not as recent as these, like, I mean, but I'm just thinking of people.
Oh, in the
well, since me and you've been communicating.
Yeah.
I've been doing these reels, man, because you know the glam kids showed me how to do reels, bro. I didn't know how to.
Well, let me go ahead and say that our videos that I do with Funkatopia Live are like 3+ hours. A lot of times we'll have a special guest on, then we talk, we shoot the poop, whatever. It's like it's always a whole thing. And Stage Player says Toya Gaines' birthday was yesterday. We missed it. But that's the thing, though, is that I put up like little clips, like little 1 minute clips or whatever. Like I've only done that a couple times, but like, man, when they go, they fire. So it's like, all right, I need to find somebody who's willing to help me break up some of this stuff into like little 1 minute clips. It's just, it doesn't, I don't know. Anyways. All right, let's get a little bit of a laugh. This is funny. I saw this. I said, this has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but I think it's hilarious. And I was like, I want to play this and see how Lenny reacts. Basically, what this is what you're seeing is a dashboard camera of one of those big, huge money collecting trucks. Okay. So this guy is going about his job. He's collecting money from the various businesses, and I guess he then transfers it to the bank or whatever. These people in the car, are now. Do you? Let me know if you can hear the sound when this starts. I think the sound will come out fine. These people in the car decide. I guess they figured out what his route was. So they've stopped on this, I guess, this passway, this bridge, and they're going to try to rob him on the bridge. And here's how, this is how this plays out, just so we're clear. So basically that doesn't work out at all. First off, you can hear all the gunshots going off. If you're listening to the sound, you can hear all the gunshots going off in the background. This is a bulletproof vehicle. Okay. They made sure that when they made these vehicles that this is a probable thing that may happen. So they made this truck bulletproof. These guys did not think this stuff out. The funniest thing to me, which I noticed about the fifth time of watching this, is you can see the brake light in the car on the top of the car. So there's still a guy in there trying to step on the brake. I guess he's under the impression he's going to try to stop this car. Stop this thing.
Look, that remind me of an episode of Speed Racer when he had the mammoth car, and the mammoth car was blowing by and pushing all the other cars out the way, man, in the cartoon.
It is just it's just so funny just kind of watching all these little elements. And on top of that, the other part of this is that all those guys that got out of the car, I guess that were going to make the jack or whatever, they're standing on the bridge.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God. These people, man.
So you know what that was. You know it was, what we gonna do today, man? Hey, man, look. Man, bro. We take our Volkswagen and we gonna stop one of them damn money trucks, bro, and get paid. Bro,
I don't know how they think that was going to play.
You know, it'd
Hey,
be different if they had a big, like, 4-wheel, a big truck. You try to say, well, look, we can stop it. That little ass car. If you stop in front of a Brinks truck, bro.
Brinks trucks can pull like multiple. What are you thinking?
That's what I'm saying.
And even if they brought guns, there's like, all right, well, he's got to open the door. It was like, no, he doesn't. Everything is bulletproof. The windows are bulletproof. The vehicle is bulletproof. The only thing that bothered me about the video is all the shots that were fired, because if you listen to the video, it's like pop, 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 pop. And it's like, so where did those shots go? That's the only thing that was kind of a little unnerving to me, that thinking that there's 3 obvious idiots standing on the bridge firing off at this Brinks truck. It's like,
And
oh my God.
I'm saying they walking home. I ain't going back. I ain't going.
Yeah.
Got me up here in this plan. This plan.
My guess is that vehicle was probably not drivable after that Brinks truck.
All mushrooms ain't good mushrooms, brother.
Oh my God. All right, we got a little bit of a tech file here. Apparently, this is something new, but apparently Twitter is being changed. The whole vibe and marketing. Do you do Twitter at all?
I'm on Twitter, man, but all I do is retweet.
It's a full-time job on Twitter.
I don't put pictures up. I just don't know what I'm doing. I mean, information will pop up real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say, oh, something happened, as far as like little tweets popping up in my notifications, but I'm not on Twitter. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, really. Like,
you're a brave man.
What am I trying to do?
You are a brave man. I cannot do Twitter notifications. Twitter's like, can I send you notifications? I'm like, hell no. We like lighten up my phone like multiple times a minute. No, absolutely not.
Turn the notification for Twitter off.
Yeah,
every 5 seconds, just bing, 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 bing.
It's too much. It's just too much. It's just way too much. It's not. But anyways, the little blue bird, they're doing away with it. Now they're using, Elon Musk has decided it's going to be Twitter X.
Oh,
so now the bird is gone and they are vibing with this X now. Matter of fact, they've changed everything about Twitter. So even when you first start up Twitter, instead of the bird that little pops up in the middle of the screen while it's loading, it's now an X. They've even changed the fav icon. I don't know if you know what a fav icon is, but like a fav icon is when you have a browser, the little teeny logo that appears in the tab.
Right.
And so now it's an X. That's an X too. So everything is changing as far as its branding. The Twitter branding is gone. It's dying. But I think what's ended up happening is that Elon has caught so much flack for everything that's happened with Twitter, that it's just, he's just like, all right, screw it. You know what? I spent, how much did he spend? I want to say it was like $40 billion or whatever it was and he tried to get out of that deal, but unfortunately the contracts, his dumbass made the contracts locked down so hard that even he couldn't get out of the deal. He was trying to make sure that they couldn't get out of the deal, but what ended up happening was that he ended up screwing himself and he couldn't get out of the deal when he realized that the valuation of Twitter was like, that's way too much. Even everybody in the tech industry was like, you're paying $44 billion for Twitter for what? Anyways, needless to say, I think he just got trapped into this deal and now he's just like, all right, screw it. This is going to be my toy now, I guess. And he's just doing whatever he's going to do. So I don't know.
The X.
I don't know.
Oh no. How many purple like I can't see the chat, so how many purple fam are on Twitter? That's what I want to know.
Who knows? Individuals, I'm sure a lot of them, because I know a lot of times when I post something on Twitter, I get a lot of retweets and a lot of people reaching out to me and stuff. I mean, yeah. Lisa says, get Jill Jones on about Elon on Twitter. No. If you've ever seen, Jill says she's on Twitter. Mailing Stone Pools on Twitter. A lot of people are on Twitter. But if you've ever seen, here's what I can tell you. Jill Jones on Twitter. Jill Jones is very, very highly political. I don't know if she is like highly political, and she's very, very left wing. So anything right wing that happens, the very fact that Trump is back in this race, I can't fathom this. I can't figure it out. I don't, it makes no sense to me. I thought, wasn't he in jail? Wasn't he like, what, it's like, what's the term when they kick the president out? What's the same thing happened to Clinton?
And they was trying to impeach him.
Right. Wasn't he impeached? If you were impeached
twice, you can run?
Yeah. You're in the middle of a court case. And now you're in the process of being, how is it even, well, how are you in this mix? I don't understand how you're in, and he's going about it on the campaign trail like nothing's going on.
I mean,
like nothing happening.
I mean,
it's fine.
Hey, we're living in an alternate universe, bro.
I ain't what's happening here. I don't understand. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, Jill gets really upset, especially when somebody right wing gets, is making some point. It's just, she gets off on a tirade. And if you ever want to see, a woman get really mad on Twitter, it's Jill Jones is quite entertaining to watch on Twitter for sure. But yeah, so that's that. All right, we gotta
shout out Sheila E. getting that star on the Walk of Fame, bro.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, I did that the last broadcast. I had the picture up and everything. Man, yeah, absolutely.
Is that awesome? That is so man. I just be thinking about how the Prince connection, the world. I mean, it's like all these people.
Does Prince? Prince doesn't have a star on the Walk of Fame, does he?
No.
Why? It seems like, I don't know. That seems kind of crazy that he doesn't have it.
I want him to have one, but we know how he felt about, but it's like,
especially since right across the street. Well, I mean, obviously the Hollywood Walk of Fame is very, very long and goes through multiple neighborhoods and everything because of the amount of thing. But, the Chinese Man's Theater, which is where, a lot of the big stars are. I mean, that was, where the premiere Purple Rain happened. I mean, everything just happened there. It just seemed like there's a lot of stuff. I mean,
hopefully one day. I mean, I wouldn't mind saying like I told everybody, like when it comes to promoting Prince now, I'm all for anything to get his name out there, because I be doing these YouTube reactions. I follow people that react to Prince music.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of them have the same thing. They'll say, oh yeah, Prince is G, he OG, but I only know about maybe one Prince song because in my household growing up, we were Michael Jackson fans. So I hear that a lot. Of course, when they go down the Prince rabbit hole, they fall in love with Prince as well. And that started thinking, you know, we're in this purple bubble and we just believe that Prince, though we know talent-wise, Prince is on the level of anybody that's ever done it. He's up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But when people get their top fives, he's not necessarily always an automatic top five entertainer all the time when you listen to people do their list.
Yeah, which is like shocking to me because the amount of things that he's accomplished is just like, what?
Right. You know, so it's just we got a lot of work to do. So, you know, I wouldn't mind him having a star on the Walk of Fame.
There's a lot of people there's a lot of people on the chat room that are saying that Prince was offered a star twice and he said no twice.
Yep.
So yeah, he turned out having a star. He got the gold star on First Avenue. Yeah, on the painting on the wall. I guess. Okay. But it wasn't gold when he was with us. It was like everybody else's. All right, here's just something I learned today. And then we're going to talk a couple of movie things, and then we're going to go into our controversy corner where we're going to talk here about Damon, what happened with Damon D here, and kind of wrap this up. But this is something I didn't know. Let's talk about strawberries for a second. This is like, doesn't even make any sense. I happened to stumble upon this article that was done by this. It says the article was called. It was done by the science website, and it said the white dots on strawberries are not strawberry seeds. And I was like, that intrigued me enough to click it. I was like, all right, and what are they? And then I learned that two things. First off, I learned that those little white things that we thought were little teeny strawberry seeds are called achenes. And basically there are seeds inside of those things. So technically, I guess that means they are seeds, but there are seeds inside of those. So if you actually took those in a microscope and you actually cut it, there's a seed inside of that. They're called achenes. But the other thing that blew my mind about strawberries, Lisa goes, you like clickbait? Yes, I do. The other thing about it is that strawberries are not fruit. They're not berries. I was like, what? Strawberries are fruit. What are you talking about? It's not like when you heard that tomatoes were not fruit. Tomatoes are not vegetables. They're fruit. I was like, what? I thought, okay, that's fine. It's whatever. But apparently strawberries are not even berries. Apparently, I was like, how is this true? But looking into it, it said that they actually belong to the family of roses. So technically they're flowers. They're in the rose family, which is called rosacea, not like the skin condition, but whatever it's called. I'm like, what? And I was same thing with blackberries and raspberries too. I'm like, all right, this article has messed me up.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know, man.
I said, this article has messed me up that it is in this. I'm telling you, I have it right here. I have, I'll actually share the link, but I'm like, this is craziness. This is insane. Anyways, that's just something just to mess with your mind just a little bit. Y'all can look it up. It's right there. It just ruins your life.
Well, dang.
All right, let's we got a couple movies to talk about. This past weekend, did you go see any movies this weekend?
No.
You don't do movies? You don't seem like a movie person.
I want to do movies, but like I keep saying. See, I got these glam kids, bro.
You just call them gland kids?
Glam. They glam. Look. I'm 22/7, not 24/7, but I'm 22/7 glam kids. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. Okay.
So I got to be there for the glam kids, man. and if they don't want to go to the show, we ain't going to the show. So man, I done missed out on a whole. Matter of fact, I'll take that back. Paisley wanted to go see The Little Mermaid.
Okay, I can see that.
What?
That was in and out of the theater quick.
Yeah, she wanted to see The Little Mermaid, but then an ad on YouTube I was looking at came on about Beyonce and the Renaissance tour. So she don't want to go see Little Mermaid. She wanted to go see that.
That's a much more expensive ticket.
That's
I
right.
looked at Beyonce tickets for Atlanta. She's going to be here in a couple weeks, and I think the cheapest ticket I could find was like $300. And but it was not a bad seat. If I went by myself, I'd have a pretty decent seat. But anyways, the big movies that happened this weekend, I see that Jill Norman said she went to go see Mission Impossible. The big movies that happened this weekend were Barbie, the Barbie movie, and Oppenheimer.
Okay.
And Oppenheimer being the movie about the creation of the atomic bomb, I think it is.
Right.
And then obviously Barbie being Barbie. These movies, unfriggin' believable the amount of money that these friggin' movies packed in. But
yeah,
Google Trends did a thing here where they were talking about who went to go see what based on the United States. So they got this United States map showing is Barbie trending in this state or is Oppenheimer trending in the state? And apparently in the Southeast, we all wanted Barbie. Apparently. And what's funny is that look how pink Mississippi is. Mississippi is like hardcore hot pink. Like what's going on in Mississippi where they're like all Barbie, like all the way. Georgia were pink. I won't lie. I did go and see Barbie on, I guess, the premiere night, which was Thursday night, because wife wanted to see it. So fine, we went to go see it. It was okay. It was about what I expected or whatever, but it's also interesting. New Mexico, I guess, is where some of this stuff happened for Oppenheimer. That was obviously the big draw. Same thing in Washington and California. I would have thought California, being as left-wing as they are and how woke Barbie was, they had a transgender Barbie.
Oh.
I was like, oh, Lord, we're definitely going to hear about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, so I'm actually surprised that California wasn't more pink. It's just crazy to me. But anyways, it's insane to me that I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't really matter because apparently Barbie won overall. It was the biggest domestic opening of 2023, the biggest opening ever for a female director, the biggest opening for a movie based on a toy. I don't even know why I said even a stat. Biggest opening ever for Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, who were Barbie and Ken in the movie. There's actually multiple Barbies and multiple Kens in the movie, not to ruin the movie for you. But so everybody that was ever a Barbie was in there. So they had like, this Barbie and that Barbie. And the biggest opening weekend for a movie that isn't a sequel, remake, or a superhero movie.
Wow.
But yeah, they had the transgender Barbie. They said it basically diminished, devalued patriarchy. Fox News just had a meltdown about it. But Barbie brought in $182 million globally on its opening weekend. But not far behind, surprisingly enough, is Oppenheimer with $172 million. That's pretty close. It's only a $10 million gap between those two movies. And they're not, I mean, those movies are nothing alike each other, like at all. It's crazy to me. That doesn't even make any sense. But then on Twitter, the whole trend about black Barbies popped up and people are saying there are no black Barbies and there's barely any black Barbies. And apparently that quickly got debunked when this lady named Alyssa Jackson was like, yes, there were. Apparently she works for KSHB in Kansas, and she just toured this woman's house in Olathe, Kansas. And this woman has an entire room dedicated to all the black Barbies that were ever released. I had no idea there were that many black Barbies made. I'm just shocked
I'm gonna have to show my mom this, man, later
I
on.
was just like, there's that. I thought maybe there were a few. I know I remember seeing a few, but apparently there were a bunch of black Barbies, like all these different black Barbies. And this woman, you can probably find, if you look up KSHB in Kansas, this woman did a special tour of this place. So you can probably look it up, and there's probably a video of close up of all these Barbies. I'm like, wow.
Damn, I didn't know there was that many. If I was to guess, I might maybe 5, maybe.
That's what I said. 6, whatever. Not dozens.
Lord, that's all right then.
All right.
Now, I was wondering what.
All right, Mattel.
Because there was a lot of Instagram, even Twitter, like I said, a lot of even some of our purple people were dressing up like Barbie, and I didn't get it. I was like, oh, you look good. I didn't understand what the Barbie. Now I understand what's going on. It's about the movie and everything. So,
oh yeah, that's definitely it. But
okay, what's happening?
There it is.
Dude, I don't know about the other movie, man. I don't know if I want to go see something that might drain my energy.
It will drain your energy. It is, everybody was asking me, how did you like it? It was like, it's exactly what I expected it to be. Like she gets in the shower and she turns on the shower and no water comes out, but she's still pretending like, just because it's supposed to be just like the toys and everything.
Oh.
So she goes to go drink something and she'll grab a cup and she'll pretend to drink it and nothing will come out because it's just like you're playing with a toy. She's in Barbie land. So, I mean, that was the gimmick, but she had the little pink slide that came out of her house. So it was the whole thing anyways. And the last thing we'll talk about before we go into our controversy corner here is the new movie that is coming out, a brand new movie about Willy Wonka. Again, we don't have how many versions of Willy Wonka we're going to have, but this is his origin story, featuring what's this guy, Timothy Chalamet? Is that what his name is? It's an origin story. Have you heard about this?
No, I ain't heard about it, but dang.
It looks interesting and looks kind of cool. How he grew up, how he came to start making chocolate, some of the things that he created and some of the competition that he obviously had from other chocolatiers, I guess, in the town. And it actually looks like it would be an interesting story. But once again, Hollywood kind of scraping the barrel and going, but the controversy here is that they, as part of the previews that they were showing, which they actually showed at the Barbie movie that we saw, was they showcased an Oompa Loompa underneath a glass jar, and he's having a discussion with Oompa Loompa. But what ticked everybody off was the Oompa Loompa is played by Hugh Grant, who is not a little person. He is a regular sized person who they've transposed onto this small body. And Wee Man from Jackass, he was like one of the first people to comment. He was like, what's happening here? There are thousands and thousands of little people, actors that are out there. Why in the world would you go with somebody like Hugh Grant when you can go with somebody like Wee Man, or go with somebody else that is actually a little person that could play this role? And obviously there are people are freaking out about this. It's a thing. It is a whole thing. I don't know what you feel about it. I'm just like, it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
If Hugh Grant's such a great actor, they had to make him a little person instead of just going to get one of the actors that, that can just do the part. I mean, I'm trying to figure that out. Like,
Heidi says there's a new Snow White coming out where the dwarves are replaced with non-little people. What? How? What?
I don't understand.
It's Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. What's happening here? Not that it's the most politically incorrect story out of the gate at its core, but at the same note, it's it's not politically incorrect. It's just the story, but I mean, I guess they're just trying to, I don't know what's happening here. All right. We're done talking about this stuff. Let's go to what we call Controversy Corner. Got to play our little jingle. Controversy Corner. That's Princess Controversy with Aloe Black's Corner. Merged together because I can think of nothing better to do.
That's what's up.
Is what it is. All right, listen. I don't know what to say. All right, here's what I'm going to tell you. The controversy that we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about this to kind of close out the night, but it may take up a little bit of time because Lenny, you were here when this kind of unraveled. And it all, I'm trying to figure out the best way to kind of start this. Damon D posted an old clip of him performing with MPG, performing with Prince, and Damon played a little bit of a prank on Prince by dressing up like a woman. It obviously wasn't a woman, but he kind of came up and was kind of messing with Prince. And Prince was totally caught off guard. So it was not like something that was scripted. NPG would do these things. Morris Hayes has talked about this on the show. Everybody's who else talked about it? I think even Liv Warfield talked about it on the show. They would do these nights during the tour called Funk Nights,
right? Where
they would just have fun. They would cut up. They would do little things. They would just kind of do little things with each other, and just cut up. Just have some fun. That's basically what it was. And everybody would kind of a little bit try to outdo things. A lot of times it didn't happen on stage. Sometimes it would happen off stage, but it was all in fun. And Prince was well aware of it, but very rarely was Prince caught off guard by something. And Damon D posted one of those videos, and I can actually let me make sure that I'll actually share the video. I guess I can share the entire video. It's not really long. It's like 20 seconds long, but I will actually share the video that he shared. And so you guys can check it out and make sure it's the right one. Yep. All right. Let me share this, and we'll play the sound. It's just 30 seconds long, but this is the performance. I don't remember exactly where this performance was, but this was from Damon D's private collection. And here's the video. Prince has no idea this is going on. He's like, what is happening? And of course, you know that, and there's a little bit more to the video where Prince actually sits down and he's like laughing because it's so funny that he just can't. It literally broke up the show because he was laughing so hard, and he was just laughing so hard because all this, you know. Anyways, a lot of people shared that video. When he shared it, a lot of people then shared that video in their groups to kind of spread the you know, they just spread it. And I was one of them. Funkatopia, I shared it, and there was a lot of people who were laughing and comment, and other people shared it. And the comments just started getting out of control. But there's this one woman who we've had issues with on Funkatopia before. She changes her name because she gets kicked off or banned from a group, and then she'll change her name and then she'll pop up somewhere else. But she is one of these people that acts like they're a Prince expert, which is one of the reasons why you've already heard me say a couple times, I am not a Prince expert. I know a lot. I know a lot. But anyways, the problem was that people were when people were sharing them, they weren't giving Damon D the credit for being the source of the video.
Right.
Damon was not where I got the video from. Actually, I got the video from somebody else, from another MPG member. I almost just said the name, so what does it matter? But anyways, I got the video from somebody else and I shared it. And then they were saying, oh, that video came from Damon D. And I quickly said, thank you, Kirk Johnson and Damon D, for sharing this video. I made sure that, all the appropriate credit was given. I was like, I don't know where it originally started because it's obviously been handed around a couple of times. And everybody else was doing that too. But some people were doing it, just posting it willy-nilly. And there's another Facebook group that posted it. I did contact Damon D after all this kind of unraveled. We'll talk about what unraveled. But I did contact Damon D and I said, this didn't happen on Funkatopia, did it? Because I'm looking and I don't see it. And he goes, no. And he told me where it happened. And it's a Facebook group called Prince. Prince the.
Right.
Anyways, I'm not, you can do your own research and figure out which one it was, but it was not us. But I will say that when all this unraveled, which I still haven't got to it yet, I immediately just deleted the post. We had nothing but comments and love and positivity. There were a couple ignorant ass comments that kind of popped up on there. That was just like, oh, look, it's Michelle Obama. I'm like, really? Who are you talking about?
Right.
I was like, yes, there's a couple of ignorant shit like that. So I just deleted it. Even though I had nothing to do with all this stuff that was going on, I was like, I deleted it because if somebody took it from me and then shared it from I'm like furthering this down the line. I said, I'm not having anything to do with it. I'll just kill it. But anyways, this Facebook group, Prince the, there's a woman that's on there who, again, we've had problems with here on before, and she got kicked off. She was one of 2 people that I've ever kicked off of Facebook. She's just only one of 2. And she is a troublemaker right out of the gate. She always has issues with everything. She always has problems. Now, her issue was that Damon was interrupting the show, was kind of causing problems. So there was like little comments like that or whatever that, messed up his show. But then Damon D saw that the video wasn't properly credited, and he was kind of commenting, this video came from my private collection. I know where this came from. I posted it, so I know where this is at. I know where, whatever.
Right.
And the woman had a problem with the fact that he was even making a deal that this video belonged to him or whatever, and called him a pompous ass, which Damon did not like.
Right.
Damon did not like at all. And anyways, and needless to say, Damon lost his mind and went live. You were actually part of that live. Did you come on when he was doing that show live, or did you comment after he had already posted that live?
I forgot. I know I posted, because when I saw it, I was so in shock. You know what I'm saying? That it was well, normally, like I said, Damon normally don't get that upset. So
yeah, I've known Damon. I've known Damon for about, I don't know, 8-9 years. Probably, so not as long as everybody else has. Obviously, not when this video was ever. But I'm not going to play I'm not going to play the entire video. But I'm just going to play just a little clip of. And if you're offended by profanity, the only reason why I'm even showing just even a little clip was because we want to just kind of get an idea of how mad Damon is, and he has this on his public page. So, if he would have. Anyways, this is just a taste.
Because there's a bunch of fucking people and their fans and whatever else they want to be who are very disrespectful. Now, this bitch won't call me a name, but see, that's that keyboard shit y'all do when y'all behind a keyboard and you want to come to somebody's face. I'm right here in Minnesota. I ain't hiding from no fucking body. If she wants to come and say something to me personally, come say something to me personally. Or stay your ass in whatever country you in and soak in your own fat ass motherfucking dreams.
Okay, we're gonna stop it there. Because this video goes on for quite a bit. And here's the only reason why I even bothered to even play this was for two reasons. First off, Damon D is a friend of mine. And when I saw this video and I saw him that angry and that furious, my heart sank because Damon is like the most calm and chill and just relaxed dude. He's not like I've never ever seen him like that, like ever. I was like just, and I was a little bit scared because he was mad. He was so mad.
It tensed me up. I was tense.
It really tense.
Like I said, I've never seen him like that. And, you know, it could be like, I know I've been pushed to that point before where it's like, you really don't want to be in that space, that energy to come out of you like that. You know what I'm saying? And for him to be that upset, just let me know that the person, you know, it's like the disrespect that goes on social media is like, you know, it's like people
out of control.
Something.
Yeah, and that is also, that is the other point, or the only reason why I brought this out. The only reason why I brought this out in public like this, he already has. He's already put it on his public page. He did that live video. He left that live video up. That video has been up. It's been out there. So he's named the person. He's named the Facebook group that it happened on. He's already divulged all that stuff. If he kind of woke up the next morning and kind of felt like a certain way, he probably would have taken it down. But he's obviously still a little bit feeling some sort of way about it.
Right.
And so the point of this was twofold. These people that are out there that do this kind of thing, where they just kind of attack people that were actually in the mix,
right,
that were actually there, that have been touring with Prince and are close to Prince and the new Prince for many, many years, and they work with him and got paychecks written, signed by him, from him. It's just insane to me that you would think that you have some volume of knowledge that exceeds those people.
Right.
You have no right to sit there and judge somebody or even say some ignorant something like that in the first place. It's insane. And that's the reason why I've said a couple times before, I am not a Prince expert. That's one reason why that's like the fifth time I've said it this broadcast. Yes, Funkatopia exists mainly because of and focuses a lot on Prince. Yes, we have an ASCAP licensed 24/7 Prince radio station. Yes, I have done full-blown album chats on all of Prince's 50+ albums, each of which is 2+ hours, if not most of which are over 3 hours long, where I break down every single song, all the history of the album, all the stories behind it, every single story I could possibly get. I got dozens of different Prince books, some of which I finished reading, some of which I haven't finished yet. Yes, I've met Prince 3 separate times, one of which was actually shaking his hand and I actually got to briefly speak with him. Yes, he knew who I was, and he even did Facebook posts about me and tweets about Funkatopia, which is one of the reasons why we're Prince heavy in the first place. A lot of people like, oh, you always say that. Well, here's a screen capture of some of the Facebook posts and tweets that he did about us when he was with us.
Right.
Like there's right there. There's 3 of them right there. Funkatopia. They're all from Prince's thing. So yes, he knew who I was. Yes, I've seen over 24 of his shows and after parties and whatever. Yes, I've interviewed a majority of the bands going back early as Owen Husney and Pepe Willie, all the way up, and Chris Moon, all the way up to Third Eye Girl and multiple members of MPG. But I've never toured with him. I've never performed. Well, I've never performed with him, but I've sang to him and was standing next to him while he was playing piano, but I don't consider that a performance. I've never had a one-on-one in-depth discussion or conversation with him on personal matters. I've never done any of that stuff. Basically, I know a lot. I know more than anybody that's in my family or friend circles. I know way more than any of them, but I am not a Prince expert. Prince was the only Prince expert that there was. I learn new stuff every single day. Every day I learn something new. And like today, we're just in this broadcast. I didn't know that he had turned down the Walk of Fame, the star on the Walk of Fame twice. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until you guys just told me. That's what I'm talking about. I am not a Prince expert. I told you I have an entire bookshelf of Prince books, so I haven't even, I have this etch-a-sketch brain anyway. It's just kind of like information goes in, I'm like, that's not important. I just kind of just let it go, you know what I'm saying? Right. The point of all this being, I am no authority. I know a lot, but I'm not an authority. However, some folks out there seem to think that they know everything there is to know about him, what he would do, what he wouldn't do, what he would have liked, what he wouldn't have liked, where he stands on certain topics. But the truth is, you don't know jack. You may know a little bit about what he may have divulged, but even things that he's even said publicly out loud, he's changed his mind on years later. You have no idea where he stood on anything. And these people that even have the nerve to confront people that were actually in his life, that were married to him. People give my take all the time. People give people that he performed with, people that worked with him for years. There's people that I've had on the show that worked with him for decades that people say, oh, well, Prince didn't like her. They worked for him for decades. What are you talking about? It's like there's truth to a lot of things that you hear in the mix, in the ether. It's just like all that being said, it's just like these people were there. They knew him. They worked with him. They did all those things. And Damon D is one of them. Damon D has been in the mix. He's been on the dark side of things. He's been on the light side of things. He's been on the fun side of things and all that. And all these people that, some of these folks that show up in Funkatopia, when they start that crap, I see them and a lot of people tell me, hey, this person's saying that. I'll boot them. I've only booted 2 because there's some people that just say things just kind of out of spite, but then I watch them. It's like, is this a continuous thing? Is this going to be going on for a while, or, where are we at? But that video that he shared of that performance was on Damon D's personal page that he shared. He shared with everybody just to kind of lighten people's day, to make people laugh.
People were happy.
Make people happy, to have a good time and just say, hey, remember this? It was just so much fun. This is how, this is how he was. Right. And, again, when I saw it, I tensed up, like you said. It just kind of like, wow, it was just like, and my heart sank because immediately my thought was, did this happen under Funkatopia's watch? Because, everybody knows pretty much Funkatopia is a one-man show where, I do pretty much most everything with the video production, with running Facebook, with running the website, with running, doing all the research. It's always been that way for next year will be 20 years. Right. Spinning the wheels, but Oh, I reached out to him. I called him. I have his number. I have his new number, and I called him and I said, "This wasn't. Are you okay? What, And he was just. I think he had kind of calmed down at that point, but he was, he was really, really mad. And I'm just trying to figure out why people feel like they have that right to kind of step on other people like that, and to act like what Prince would have wanted and what he would have liked and what he wouldn't have liked and whatever else. We can make assumptions. I do that all the time. I do quite a bit of assuming that Prince would have liked something, or I'm sorry, I know I didn't put this back up. I wanted to take this off. I was trying to kill it. Anyways, we have to be protecting Prince's legacy right now. And if you think that you are protecting Prince's legacy by going online and name calling people who were there.
Exactly.
When for all I know, you probably never even saw him live. Everything that you have seen was probably on TV. I just don't get it. Even in that little small clip, Damon talked about it. He talked about this keyboard bravery that people have.
Right.
That they just think that, oh, I can say whatever and there's no repercussions. Oh, that's not true, my friend. Not only does it not have repercussions, but it lives out there forever. Forever.
You would have never said that to Damon's face.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's like we as Prince fans, I mean, me personally, I love to hear anybody that was around Prince. I don't care if it was the person that was answering the phones. If they got a good Prince story, I would love to hear it. If they got a video or something, I would love to see it, just to, because people don't have to, like I said, bless us with their memories. I mean, Damon ain't got to do that. Damon can sit there and look at, I mean, I'm sure he got plenty of stuff that he could show the world if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But stuff, you keep dear to your heart. And then when you release some stuff, you would expect a little, grace or something. I mean, like, I've shared stuff before, not given credit before. And if somebody checked me on it, I'm not going to come back at them all crazy when they're the source. You know what I'm saying? So regardless how I would do it, whether it's like, oh, what you all ruffled up for, if they feel a certain way, you should say, well, you know what? My bad. You right. It ain't nothing but you hit the edit button and then you give somebody credit. Oh, this is by Damon D. Thanks, Damon D. That's all you got to do. I don't get what's the negativity back at Damon for? You see what I'm saying? It don't make any sense.
Yeah, well, this person's, for those who want to know where the pompous ass thing came from, this woman was more like and if you want to see who the Facebook group was and who this woman is, you can go to Damon Dixon's page.
Right.
And he made her name the topic.
Right.
He name called her and name called the Facebook group down in the comments. He named everything where this all occurred. And it actually made me rethink a lot of some of the things that are on Facebook. Right. Like sometimes I will post like his appearance on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. What's interesting about some of those shows is that once they're off the air, NBC and the affiliates and stuff, they don't care. They don't do the copyright checks. They don't do any of that stuff. Believe it or not, I'm telling you, it exists. I had a video where I went to New York City and I saw Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, not The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. This was Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. And I was in the audience and I was on the show 3 times, not in a speaking part, but like they did a pan of the audience and I was right there and I was like, 3 separate times. And, so I did the video and I stopped it and I paused it. I didn't arrow. That's me. And just kind of be funny. And I posted it on YouTube and I got hit with not a copyright strike, but basically like, you can't post this video. It's a copyright, blah, 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 blah. When that show stopped airing, no joke, I want to say it was less than 6 months later, YouTube released it and then it was okay to post. They didn't care anymore because that show didn't exist. So if the show doesn't exist, there's nothing monetary that's happening. It's not like I wasn't, monetizing anything. It was just, and that's the weird thing about copyrights. But when it comes to people specifically, like Damon D releasing that from his personal collection, that was actually looked like a professional multi-camera thing. So it's probably never been released into something that he has personally. And I think the actual clip that I saw was a little bit longer, but all that being said, Damon's like, this is, my video. I posted it here. So I know that it belonged to me.
Right.
And, I think people get upset that you don't credit them for, for the stuff. Reshare it, repost it, so that other people can see where the source was, who posted it, and that's part of social media and being able to, gather some of your followings, is that hoping that somebody with a big fan base will take your stuff and repost it. Right. I posted a video one time and then, Bootsy Collins and, Bootsy reposted it on his site and somebody else posted it on their site. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So it made me rethink how, sometimes I get some of this information. It's like, sometimes I get a video and I'm like, I don't know where this came from, because as I said, when I shared that video, I didn't get it from Damon.
Right.
Somebody else had got it and posted it on their site. And that's where I got it from. That's where I moved it over from. And then Damon was like, that came from me. I was like, oh, well, my bad. And I fixed it like immediately, but that happened within like a 1 hour window.
Right.
And so there's a couple of points of this. If you share something, make sure the person gets, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, I don't think Damon would have gotten that upset if she didn't call him a name. Like,
oh yeah. He said that a couple times.
It's like, damn, like I'm saying, whether we know it or not, or feel a way about it, whether it's Maite, Damon D, Shelby J, Jill Jones, anybody that shares something, especially something we ain't never seen before, I feel blessed. I'm like, oh shit, I get to see. I saw something today I ain't even know it, and I feel kind of good. And like I said, they do it to make us feel good. They know we want as much Prince as possible. You know what I'm saying? So when they share something, it's like, let them know. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Just
exactly.
Simple shit. But people today, bro, they just evil, man. I mean, it's like, it's like
the hardcore. It was just called. It was like when Damon, Jeremy says, I remember when you won the Steve. Yeah, I was actually on the Steve Harvey show. Not just, I was sitting in the audience, but Steve also came over and had me stand up and ask a question. I asked him a question, and we were I think we were only one of two white people that were in the audience that show. They put you can see that. And this was recorded in downtown Atlanta, not in Atlanta, in South Atlanta at Tyler Perry's studio. And they put us like front center. It was like, oh, white folk, put you front center. Got to build a kind of like making that little diversity shot or whatever. But yeah, they asked for questions, and I can ask a question. So see, I was actually part of the show. But again, I shared that on my personal thing. But if somebody had taken that video and shared it somewhere else, I really didn't need credit for it because I was in it. But so was Damon D. Damon was in the video too, but a lot of people didn't know it was Damon. Everybody said, oh, is that? I don't know. Anyways, all that being said, this has got, there's two lessons to be learned here from this debacle. the first debacle is if there's a video or something that somebody is sharing from their personal collection, repost it. And I'm guilty of this. Sometimes if something's going on and I can't repost it for whatever reason, you know, I'll try to find it. It happens. It just happened recently with Robert Smith of The Cure did a performance in Minneapolis, and he was wearing a Prince Sign of the Time shirt. And I saw the post on Twitter, and I did a repost on Twitter, but then I got the picture and I put it on Facebook, and I said, "Oh, look, Prince fans in Funkatopia, it's Robert Smith of The Cure, and he's wearing a Prince shirt." And this, I guess, somehow or other, going down the rabbit hole, the person who actually had taken the picture got upset that I used their picture without their permission, even though I did actually go through the process and say, who took this picture before I even did this? So like, can I, who did it? But I didn't wait for an answer, and I posted it anyways. And I ended up getting a copyright strike on Facebook. And the problem with Facebook is if that happens multiple times, they flush you. So be real careful where you get your videos from, and make sure that you give proper credit. It will still get traction. It will still attract people, but it will also attract attention for that person too, who gave you that content. So trust me, I'm still in the process of learning this myself, because, you know, some people like Joe Rogan create content on a daily basis and can just like spit out nonstop content all day long. And others don't, you know, so they just take and they post, and then they get upset when somebody comes along and says, "Hey, that's mine." They're like, "Oh, calm down, pompous ass."
Yes.
It spirals out of control.
Yeah, I know I get excited. If I see something, I'm like, oh, and I'll post it before I even think about where it comes, you know what I'm saying, where it comes from. So I know I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, so, I think everybody that's in social media has done that at some point in time.
But if the person hit me up though, see, then I'm, oh, my bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like like I said, I don't know where the negativity always comes in. And like Damon said, it's, you know, that keyboard
bravery. Yeah.
You're a keyboard warrior now. You know, whether you get off calling people, you know, that you can't mess with names on on social media, but you wouldn't say it to his face.
Yeah. So, and my issue is obviously from the other side of this. The second lesson is watch your mouth, watch your tone, and who you're talking to, because I almost wonder if she even knew who Damon was. It almost seems to me like she just thought Damon was like maybe a person who, you know, took the video or whatever.
Right.
It was just like this photographer or this videographer. It was, no, he's the one that's on the stage with him right now. So that's the kind of vibe I got from her comment. Like, why would you say that to Damon of all people? That's insane. You just gotta watch who you're talking to. Hey,
you know Prince, and you know everything about Prince, then you know
of course.
Then you know who Damon is.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
No excuse. You know.
Exactly. If you're the Prince expert, you'd have known that was Damon Dixon. You would have known that was the Game Boys, right? You'd have known that because you're the Prince expert, right? So, you know, I get called to the carpet a lot of times because people are like, how did you not know that? How, you know, you're supposed to be like the authority on Prince. Like, no, I'm not. I know a lot. I know a lot more than a lot of people, but I am not the authority, and I'm not an expert. I'm not. I mean, I guess if this was like a job, I probably could be considered an expert in this field because I know a lot. You know, I mean, I think about my own job in the industry for what I do professionally as a digital marketer. I know a lot more than anybody else, and I'm considered an expert in my field. But so I guess in that realm, I guess I am an expert. But on the same note, in this case, I don't dare call myself an expert because there's so many people out there that know way more than me and are just fans. They are just fans, just like I am, and they know way more than me, but they're like really just kind of just subdued about it.
There's some stuff I thought I knew that after talking to people like Wally, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, Wally, I've been thinking this for 30 years. And then that ain't how that went. You know, then I'm like, oh, okay. You know, so it's like,
right.
We get hooked on, like you said, it's almost like they want to be the Prince expert. And then it's like, if you don't agree with them or have a different take on it, then they attack you. When all of these stories, I start thinking about when Sheila got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I start thinking they're at a certain age now where there's so many stories that get probably like just seamless together. Like they might get the date wrong, the city wrong. You know what I'm saying? They get what happened right because so much has happened in their world with Prince or whatever that you can get confused a little bit on stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you can't hold people always to, haha, you said December. It was really February. So I know you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You be like, what is the hell is going on?
Yeah, I can't do dates. Like there's like a certain point where it's like, obviously from the beginning up until like the 90s and everything, I can tell you when albums, like the exact like year they're released, but don't ask me about the date.
Right.
I can't tell you any dates of any Prince album that was ever released. You say, what's the date that Purple Rain was released? I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I can tell you the year, but I don't know what the day. I don't know what the month was or the day. I have to look it up. I'll go to Prince Vault or I'll go to Dwayne Tudor's book or something and I'll look that stuff. I'll just look it up. I told you I have an Etch-a-Sketch brain. There's like certain things that in my head that I'll retain. Like sometimes names are horrible too. Like I remember faces all day long, and some people stick with me, and I'll always remember their names, or always, because I've done something in my head to help me remember their name. But for the most part, yeah, just my head just shakes like an Etch-a-Sketch. It's like that makes no difference. It's like that great that what was that movie that Pixar did with the brain or whatever, where all those old memories get shoved down into that pit. Or
right.
Whatever, and it's like they're down there, and you have to like kind of look for them or find ways to kind of shine a light on them or something through therapy or whatever. But anyways, just here's a new rule that I started following that I think will be very, very helpful to a lot of people, and I heard somebody else talk about it too. I think it was Gary the Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a big he's a big social media guy. He's a really success motivator type of guy, kind of like Tony Robbins. And one of the things was he's like, always expect that what you're saying, even if you're in a room all by yourself with another person, when you're talking about anybody else, that somebody is recording, or somehow, some way, that person that you're talking about is going to hear what you're saying when you're saying it. So it really causes you to kind of edit. So when you might be behind a wall and go, oh, that person's blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, what if this person actually hears this conversation? It's like, always assume that there may be a possibility that the person that you're talking about may hear what you just said, even if it's very, very improbable.
Right.
It's just, I try to go by that rule. And it's been tough to follow because there's some things that you get mad and you want to talk about. You want to talk shit about people. But, and I still do. I mean, I'll talk to somebody on the phone about a conversation. I had one today that I'm just like, I hope that person doesn't hear this. But, I had one today and it's like, but I don't know, this person on the other end of the phone may be recording this conversation and somehow that person might hear it. Or they may be in the room with the person and be like, you hear what this motherfucker saying about you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you never know.
Oh,
It's just comes down to, that's like stage player here saying, it's like comes down to respect. It comes down to just respecting people. It don't even matter if you like them or not. Just like, all right.
yeah. I mean, because if you think about it, it's like we all love Prince. Some of us are in a position to where we can look stuff up and talk about Prince every day.
Mhm.
Might be once a week, could be twice a month when they get around to it because they're working. But
Mhm.
we're all somebody's doing, like Michael Dean does what Michael Dean does. Prince 365, Rodney and them do what they do. Purple Underground do what they do, what we do. Funkatopia do what, and it just goes on and on. We all together.
Purple Underground, baby.
Yeah, there we go. You know what I'm saying?
Purple Underground.
It's like we don't have to fight over who knows the most. Who's the gatekeeper to all of the Prince stories that we all heard probably 50 times a piece if we're all deep purple as we are, like me, Micah, P. Ross, and Laura, we talk about this all the time. It's like Laura's the baby of the bunch, so it's a whole lot of stories Laura don't know.
Right.
Like Laura just got hip to the come out. You know what I'm saying? So when people see Laura, even though she's Purple Underground, they expect her to know, like, you ain't know that. You know what I'm saying? She's like, no, and it's like, she don't have to. We're all, like I said, there's stuff that I thought I knew, but I heard it wrong. I was saying it wrong for 25 years.
And that's the other thing too, is that there are people in there just here, they have the wrong details, or we all of our memories are different.
Right. So it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We all in this together to help push the legacy forward. And we can't get to the point where, especially to me, disrespecting what I call the people that Prince isn't here anymore. So people that maybe not talking for Prince, but that can help tell Prince's story better than anyone else because they were there. Point blank period. Like what am I look like arguing with Damon D about Prince?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is kind of this just
You know what I'm
to me is like, what in the world would you say to Damon Dixon
saying?
about
Like that.
Prince?
What I got my opinions, I think, but if somebody that was there tell me, nah, man, let me tell you something, and then we get to a conversation, I'm all ears, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to outshine the guy that was there.
Yeah, and everybody has different, periods with Prince. And Damon D had his periods with Prince, from the 80s. He was one of the guys dancing on the stage in Purple Rain.
Right.
All the way through the 90s when he was out front with the Game Boys and everything else. There's so many people that were in there. My take can talk for the 90s for
Right.
sure. There's tons of people that can talk through the various different decades. But again, there's only one Prince expert,
right.
And he is not here anymore. So just pretend like you don't know everything and maybe just step back for a second. If somebody says something that's incorrect or wrong, don't be like, you dumbass, blah, 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 blah. Say, right. I don't think that's right because what I heard was da, 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 da. Learn how to communicate without attacking people, man. It's like, what is your issue?
Right.
Like when Damon said, that's my video, that woman's response should have been, oh, my bad. And Damon even said this, like, oh, my bad. I didn't know that's where it came from. Thank you, Damon D, for sharing the video.
Right.
And the story, we're done. Anyways, that's just crazy.
Hey, she didn't have her plus sign that day, man.
She didn't, and she definitely didn't get it from Damon. That's what I'm sure. She definitely get it from him. All right, that's it for. It's so horrible. It's funny. Anyways, all right, we are done for the night. I think we're going to call it, but we had a lot of fun with my special guest co-host, Lenny B, aka Elboogy.
That's right.
And
I was looking for a wig, man. I was trying to play. I was gonna play Jeff. You know, so I was gonna put my keyboards out, put them in the back.
They don't make wigs like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Jeff, man. Shout out to Jeff.
Yeah, man, he's out and about doing this thing, and of course, also a very, very special shout out to the one and only Mark Webster, who came on and kind of gave us all the details about everything that was going down with the renaming of Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway, which he was the instrumental person in doing that. And on top of that, a lot of people don't know this, and we didn't talk about this, but he was also the one that was the idea man behind getting that big, amazing symbol out in front of Paisley Park. A lot of people didn't know that either, but you know, that has become like iconic now with Paisley Park, even though it hasn't been there the entire time. It's now everybody gets their picture taken in front of it because it's that massive symbol that's outside.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Paisley was missing something, and that just kind of put the cherry on top.
Yep. He just, he killed it with that idea. And then of course, this just with the highway was just taking this next level. So that's just, April saying she misses the Wally stories. Let me tell you, I was thinking about this. She's speaking about Wally Safford, who has been on the show, who's been on Funkatopia and was a big Funkatopia fan, I might add, because he's been on my show. Gosh, I want to say Wally has been on Funkatopia at least 4 or 5 times. And my favorite time was when he came on the show, Wally Safford and Damon D, who were huge friends during their touring, when they were touring together and whatever. Right. And they hadn't talked to each other in like a long time. It was like 15 plus years. It was like a long time, but they had not talked at all. And it was the first time that they had talked to each other on this show when I pulled all of MPG together. I had Morris Hayes. It was a big show. And no joke, Wally and Damon D sat and shared and just talked and caught up to each other on the show. And I didn't say jack for 45 minutes. I literally just sat back and when they were just like, oh, remember when blah, 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 remember blah, blah, blah. And they were just cutting up and going back and forth. And I just sat back and I was like, dude, there were so many stories in there. Like I could just take that episode alone, which was about a 3-hour show. I can take that episode alone and I can probably make about 100 reels, Facebook reels off of that show alone. With the amount of stories that those guys had. It was just incredible.
That was one of the most coolest organic things that ever happened. I mean, it was like, as soon as they got on, it was nonstop. And I noticed, I said, Mr. Christopher gone? Where'd he go? And they were just going back and forth telling stories. Hey, I remember that show, man. That was iconic, man. That was the show of the decade. And they had, and on top of that, what you made it even better was it made it better. I was going crazy for a second because the co-host that I had at the time, Nikki, this guy from New York, you remember Nikki, right? Really Brooklyn guy. You know, it's like, really as New York as it possibly can be. And they would be talking and kind of going off, and Nikki would try to interrupt that. He was just trying to kind of move the show along, and was trying to like interject questions. And I'm like texting him the whole time. I'm like, just don't talk. I'm like, so they're just don't talk. Don't bother talking. Just let them do their thing. Let them stop. Just stop. Don't let them stop. And man, I tell you, he, Wally was one of these guys, man, that just, I miss him dearly. And probably I'm glad that we were staying at the same hotel during one of the celebrations. We were staying at the American, I think it was 2019. May have been 2018.
and we were staying at the same hotel, and they had this really small, crappy lobby that was just like a couch and a fireplace.
Right.
That was it. And we sat on those couches. He sat on one, it was like an L. And he sat on one couch and I sat on the other. And we just sat there in that lobby and talked for about over 2 hours, and him just sharing stories. And we were just talking. This wasn't a show. It was just us just shooting the shit, just sitting in the hotel lobby, masturbating with a magazine. No, that didn't happen. So it is me and Wally just sitting in a hotel lobby, just chilling, just talking. It was just hanging out. It was just hanging out and talking. Jill said it was 2018. And I just sat just in the lobby and just talking with Wally for over 2 hours, man. And it was just him and I, and nobody else. And I literally do not remember most of the stories that he told, because it was just like nonstop barrage of just memories. And I'm sure if something came along, somebody said something that coincided with one of the stories to tell, like, oh, I remember Wally told me the story about blah, 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 blah. But, man, dude, I miss that dude for sure. And we were at that same year, we were hanging out at Bunkers, and I had a picture taken with Wally, and I have no idea
where it went.
I thought it was on my phone, but maybe somebody else took it and it was on their phone. They were like, hey, let's get the picture together. I don't remember, but if anybody has pictures of me and Wally, please share them with me, because I don't know what happened. I went through my old phone. I'd like backed up photos onto the thing, and I don't know what happened to him, but yeah, man, dude, I miss that dude. He was so real. And boy, if you ask his opinion on something,
He gonna tell you.
he gonna tell you whether you like it or not.
You remember the Bus Story series that came out? The cartoon thing about like what happened with Prince and Rick James.
No, the tales from the
Or Bus or something, or the Tales from something.
Yeah, well, because the same guy that did that did the animated series. Right. Yeah.
Wally, he could do that, man. Wally could have done that with all them groups. Look, he said, man, you know what? Yeah, and yeah. Hey, man, I'm not doing that, man. You know, and he would have been great doing that. I mean, Wally would tell a story. He told me a story about something that happened back with Parliament, and I forgot the person. I called that person and asked him, did he know who Wally was? That's when Wally first came back out, and he wasn't sure what was Facebook, what was going on and all that. And him and Rodney called me, and he told me the story, and I went back and checked the story. It's like every story he told checks out. When I tell that person, Wally's having, he told me, and the guy stopped me and go, oh yeah, man. And then start telling the same exact story, Wally. And he just had so much information, man. It was like crazy. And he can remember stuff verbatim, like how it happened exactly. But this Prince story is, man, it's like, I miss that shit. I miss that.
That was the most amazing thing about Wally Safford. Everybody's asking me whether or not that is still on. If that's still on, and yes, it is. If that video of Wally and Damon going off is still on, yes, it is still out. I'm looking for it right now. I'll get it and then send you the link. But anyways, yeah, that was the thing that amazed me the most about Wally, was his ability to remember the most innocuous details about where that was, what time of day it was, what was going on, what that date was. And it's like, how some people just have that memory, they just have that capability to be able to tell you exactly where they were.
Yep.
I just don't get it. I don't know how people do that. It's just it's just amazing to me. I'm still trying to find it. but yes, it is still out there. Search for Funkatopia. I'm actually trying to search because I remember I named that video something like Wally Safford Reunited or something like that because that's what happened. It was Wally Safford and Damon D, and it was here it is. I found it. I found it. Hold on, I'll post it for you guys. And I think this one was I'm hoping it's still on this. I'm hoping it's pulling up on Funkatopia. I'm hoping that it's audio. So there was at this point I wasn't doing a lot of video. I wasn't doing a lot of video. I was just doing audio. So everything that was on, everything was just over the phone. So people would call because I was able to patch in multiple phones, multiple lines to my phone because I had this online system that like tapped everybody in and I could bring them in. Ting, 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 ting. And that was actually really cool because when people would call in, I didn't have their phone number. So that's the reason if anybody ever steals my phone, I've got like members of MPG in here, members of the Revolution in here. And because they call and I save the phone number. So it's like, all right, this is Morris Hayes. This is blah, 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 blah. And sometimes they change your phone number. Sometimes they didn't. Wally changed his phone number, but he gave me his new one before he passed. Same thing with Damon. Damon had a number. His phone number has changed past 6 months or so. Got his new number he hasn't passed. He's still with us. But yeah, so if you want to hear that Wally Safford and Damon D reunited thing, I just posted the link. That's Funkatopia. Just if you go to Funkatopia.com and you search for Wally Safford reunited, you'll find it there. But I just posted the link in the thing if you want to take a listen to it. It's really funny, but I wouldn't suggest listening to it right now because it's really late. So anyways, thank you so much, Lenny, for joining us on this thing. We didn't mean to get on that Wally Safford rabbit hole, but that was somebody else's fault in here.
Hey, the pleasure was mine, man. I want to shout out to the Purple fam to remember we can disagree without being disagreeable. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Our love for one another. That's what Purple Underground, when we got the group together, that's what we tried to preach after we had a few incidences with people we had to kick out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or just, you can disagree, but let's not make it to the point where it's name calling and that person is stupid, don't know what they talking about. We can do it in a respectful way because that's what Prince would want. And if we're all saying we Prince fans and we want to represent him in the best light, that's how you do it. Just try to be, disagree without being disagreeable. That's just plain and simple because we're not all going to agree on everything. And that's cool.
You can't see the chat at all?
No. Because
literally as you're saying this, Olga just posted agree to disagree. Literally as you were saying that, that's what she said. Great minds think alike.
Take a like, baby.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get another pin from you because Cammie Mattingly is wanting this pin. This is an older pin though. I've had this one for years. I think I've had this one for many years that you gave to me.
Yeah, other one. We got to get the wristband. We got to get the bands back. We trying to get the bands back, man. The glow in the dark bands.
Yeah, I think the only band I have is Rodney's. Rodney's still in here. The only band I have on me is this one here that I wear every now and then. The Prince 365 celebration. I still got this band. I got Rodney's band here.
I got so many bands, boy. I'll be wearing stuff. People be like, what the hell? I'm purple every damn day, baby.
I'm gonna send this Purple Underground pin. It's the only one I have, but I'm gonna get another one from you. I'm gonna sit because Cammie has been requesting this. So Cammie, I'm gonna send this to you. There was something else I was gonna send to you too, because girl always needs prayers. So I try to help. Love for one another, right?
That's what they say.
All right, folks. Good night. We will talk to y'all later. Lenny, thank you again. Mark Webster, thank you so much for coming in and telling us about the Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway. If you have an opportunity to get out there to Minneapolis, some form or fashion, if you're driving distance or whatever, you need to get out there. August 7th at Paisley Park At 10 a.m., they're going to be doing a little event there, and then they're doing the unveiling of the sign, and then they're having a party at Lake Ann Park, which is right across the highway from Paisley Park in Chanhassen. And then they're doing a party at Crave. Did you say that was downtown Minneapolis? I think it is. On the rooftop of Crave, and that's happening at night, like 6:30, whatever, and we'll go to 6:30 till whatever. So if you're going to be out there August 7th, then absolutely, positively get out there. It's going to be amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Lenny B, Elboogy.
Pleasure's mine, man. Thanks.
See y'all later. Oh, I didn't mean to play that one. Which one was I going to try to play? Oh, that was the other cool one. We got to play the intro song. All right. That was Liv Warfield. This is the song I meant to play. Yes, it's Downtown. See y'all.